Hello. Uh, we were very slightly delayed because I woke up late. I can explain. I tried like this tea. I tried chamomile tea. Hello, Chi. Hello, Blur Neko. I tried chamomile tea last night. Maybe I drank it too late because like I read that it's supposed to be like it's calming and then it helps you sleep. It didn't help me sleep, okay? It was worse than when I took like hot chocolate before going to sleep. I could not sleep. That's why I woke up late. I was so drowsy when my alarm rang. I dropped my phone. Okay, so just a real quick before we actually start. Why did the music of Shibuya Scramble suddenly die? Okay, sir. Just a real quick before we start. I'm sorry about like having to cancel last Friday, like the Volcano Princess stream. So we'll just like try to finish Volcano Princess this week instead for sure this time. Now what happened there is because like I woke up, okay? I woke up, everything's going fine, I'm preparing, I'm gonna eat, and then like I hear this loud boom, and then I'm like, what? And then like just as I'm trying to process what that loud noise was, the electricity goes out. And then I'm like, and that's fine, I guess. Like, there was still time, so I was thinking, okay, maybe it'll come back. And then it came back, but then it happened again. Boom! And then, like, that happened, like, 3 times. And I was like, if I'm gonna stream, the next thing I know is gonna be another loud boom, and then I'm gonna have no electricity over and over again. So I just decided to cancel. So, like, when I actually, like, found out what happened, apparently, like, a transformer nearby blew up. I don't know why. It just happened, and that was why I kept losing electricity. But yeah, I just like decided to be safe than sorry. Because next thing you know, we're gonna be in the middle of a cutscene or something, and then like the electricity goes out, and you know Volcano Princess only saves by the month. No worries. Yeah, thank you. I don't know why that happened, but yeah. So now let us go on to Shibuya Scramble. Ta-dang! So last time we played, let's just load up. Last time we played, we finished the time block of the 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Like, I'm not gonna compute. I think it was 1400 to 1500. Yeah, there you go. So now we're on 1500 to 1600 for a quick recap. Okay. Let me just go back upwards. Here we are. So for a quick recap of the 1400 time block. Man, a lot happens here and everybody starts interconnecting. So basically, we've revealed that this is Maria. Tama is Maria. So she gets rid of her cat costume, and then after getting rid of her cat costume, she finds, like, she just throws it off like into a convenience store guy who throws it away. She goes off to this mall so that she can buy new clothes, and when she's in that mall, she runs into Achi and Hitomi because they went there because after Keinan saved them, she said, meet me at this mall at like 3, and then like they go there in advance. So everybody starts mixing up Maria and Hitomi without anyone realizing both twins were there. So Maria buys some clothes, Achi mixes her up for Hitomi, and they start running around. Everyone fell for the twin swap. Yeah, they start running around on like a chase sequence stuff. But ultimately Maria shakes him off. She beats up like the debt collectors, so they become afraid of Maria and Hitomi because they don't realize they're twins. And then Maria leaves the mall at the end and then gets caught by the foreign syndicate, only to be saved by the guy with a cane, and only for the guy with the cane to pull out a gun. Okay, that was a lot. It's always the guy with the cane. We can't escape. He also fell for the twin swap. Okay. Achi and Hitomi's side, after all that like confusion, they got to meet up with Keinan outside, who basically goes like, Stanley's a bad person. Like, don't go near that guy. On Kano's side, he and Stanley discovered the foreign syndicate was taken out, and they say it's Keinan. And then they also find out that the person who might be in charge of everything happening right now is Tanaka, who was the director of Mr. Osawa. So they go through all that, and then they go after Al Karawan again. And at the end, they were about to capture him, and then Sasayama gets stabbed. But they still get to capture him, like the officers on standby caught him. But Sasayama got stabbed, and now we're worried, like, is he gonna make it? Minorikawa. Oh, this is another guy who is all over the place. Okay, so Minorikawa, after the Burning Hammer sales demo, found out that his computer just had no battery. So he continues writing in the cafe. And then after writing in the cafe, he drops by Mr. Osawa's house to ask for an interview with the twins, because Rumi tells him about their like address. But the twins aren't there, so of course, nothing happens. So he goes to his interview with the theater troupe, and that goes out pretty well. It's a bit rough, but it goes out pretty well. And then Mr. Osawa gives him a call and asks for his help to investigate basically the scandal article that he wrote before, which was like not him, but the 4-star general gossip wrote before about Osawa, like political marriage and his wife was into someone else or dating someone else. For Osawa, he's going through it because Tanaka was the bad guy. And when he gives Tanaka a call, he goes like, "Ayo, what was up with that? Like, why would you do that to me?" Tanaka is like, "Oh, because you always like get everything, but you don't like appreciate it, and then everybody else is just here, like you get all the credit, I get no credit. You get the bitches, I get no bitches, you know, that's what happened." So he's like, "So now I'm gonna take some stuff from you so you know what it feels like to be taken from." Okay, that was kind of a lot to summarize. I suppose it's because we did the entire time block in one go. And the one that was hard to summarize was the twins mix-up. Okay, so now we are at 1500 to 1600. Yay! 3 o'clock to 4 p.m. I think that this is like, if I'm not wrong, I think this is one of the last few time blocks. So we're slowly getting closer to the end of the story. So I'm pretty excited about that. But of course, I want to start with Maria because of the guy with the cane. We got stopped by the guy with the cane. Oh, her smile's so wide. Alright, here he is. This is usually Achi, but twin swap. Wait, hold on. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? At my shout, the man with the cane hesitates, his finger on the trigger. What do you mean by that? The barrel of the gun is still aimed squarely at my head. I mean exactly what I said. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? I don't know who I am. You're trying to play games with me. I'm not playing with anyone, I swear. I'm utterly desperate now. Getting killed is one thing, but who wants to die without even knowing who they are? Tell me, am I Hitomi Osawa or not? The man gives me a good hard look. Damn it, I wonder. He continues to study me along with the barrel of his gun. Tell me what you know. It's an order, not a request. What I know about what? Look, I have amnesia. I quickly summarize what's happened to me since I woke up in the storehouse. The man listens intently, never taking his eyes off of me. Ah, I see. So that's what's going on then. Bro just went like, wrong twin. Once you get to 1600 to 1700, you can play in real time since your stream started at 1600. No, but if it gets too late, the real time is gonna go all wonky. We're gonna get all lost. Okay. He sits down on a empty soda crate. He seems to believe me at any rate. That's a relief if nothing else. So then, am I Hitomi Osawa? No. Then who is Hitomi Osawa? Is she someone who looks like me? Shut your mouth, the man spits. Just be quiet. He's like, I'm thinking. His expression is vacant. What am I gonna do? He mutters to himself. If I'm not Hitomi Osawa, does that mean you don't have any business with me? Seems so. In that case, can I go? The assassin doesn't answer. He lets his pistol hang limp in his hand, the muzzle dropping to point at the ground. It doesn't look like he wants to kill me anymore, but it doesn't look like he'll just let me go quietly either. What about we just wait first, right? Like, if we try to grab the gun, what if he accidentally presses it? Okay, I remain motionless, waiting for an opportunity to run away. I might not make it in time, the man murmurs to himself under his breath. Not make it in time for what? I'm curious now, but this is hardly the time or place to try and find out more. I've learned for certain that I'm not Hitomi Osawa, which basically tells me nothing. I'm right back to square one on figuring out who I am. The assassin has gone quiet. Sitting on a pile of crates, he seems lost in thought. Still, I don't dare to try to get away. All I can do is stand and wait and mull over my own situation. Just who am I? I asked myself again and again. Oh, hello, Epoch. Have a nice lurk. I think, therefore I am. No, I'm kidding. No, I have no business with you, the man finally says. Go. Don't worry, I won't follow you. I wonder if I can believe him. Maybe he's just trying to get me off my guard so he can shoot me in the back. Do not go to the police or go back home, he continues. Lay low by yourself somewhere for a while. How long is a while? Until around sundown. It should be all over by then. Sundown, huh? So that's like 2 hours? It'll all be over. I have no idea what it is, but I decide not to pry just in case he changes his mind. Okay, I'm going to run away now. Sure. I take a slow step backward. I'm starting to turn away when he speaks up once again. Before you go, I need to tell you one more thing. What's that? When you get your memories back, I'm sure you're going to hate me, and so I apologize in advance. Of course, I have no idea what he's talking about, but it makes me even more uneasy. I truly am sorry. I have no response for that, so I just give the man one last look before I turn and run. Are you someone she knows? Considering he's like, sorry, you'll hate me afterwards. Maybe they know each other. Or at least, she knows his name? Or maybe he just means that because he's trying to kill Hitomi. That could also be another one. We shall see. I decide to look for some place to hide out for a while, as the gunman suggested. But since I don't really know my left from right in this town, that's easier said than done. Before I realize it, I've made my way back to the knick-knack shop where I bought the necklace. Maybe I could hide out in here? As I contemplate that possibility, I hear an all too familiar voice. Yanagashita? Tama, 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 Tama! Oh yeah. There's Mr. Yanagashita on the floor of the shop. He's been tied up with some rope. What's happened, boss? Look, this is all just... I was framed! Nah, whatever's happened, I'm pretty sure it was all his fault. Just call it a hunch. Yay, he's still alive. Yeah. He says I'm a thief. Well, I say he's the thief for stealing stuff he finds around town. Hey! The sales clerk steps into view, scowling. Just what are you implying? What in the world is going on here? I haven't the foggiest. Tama, help me! Please! Yanagashita kicks and squirms like a hyperactive child. Do you know this man? The sales clerk asks. No, well, I mean, sorta. He's a real pain. He's been making a scene like this for as long as he's been here. I find it hard to imagine a worse way to interfere with someone's business. I hate to ask, the clerk continues, but could you take him to the police for me? The police? Yeah. Oh, well, the police. The gunman did specifically warn me not to go to them. I feel no loyalty to that killer, but I'm reluctant to antagonize him. For reasons I can't explain, I have a strong sense that going to the police right now is a bad move. But Mr. Yanagashita isn't privy to my thoughts, and he looks up at me with a hopeful gleam in his eye. Yeah, that'll work! Tama can take me to the police, and then we can put this all behind us. All's well that ends well, right? Well, sure. Feeling like I have no choice, I leave the shop with him. But we're not really going to the police. Yeah, we're just gonna let you go, for real. Yeah, I figured. The music! Yeah, baby, baby! Okay, Mr. Yanagashita says excitedly as soon as we're out of earshot. Now, let's go find Cheery! Huh? Aren't we going to the No! No, we're not really gonna go. Oh, man, I'm so glad that you showed up, Tama. Now come on, let's go find Cheery! From the big grin on his face, I have an inkling of what's coming next. You've thought of another get rich quick scheme, haven't you? Goodness, Tama, you can see right through me! It's not that difficult. It's practically written all over your face, boss. Well, Mr. Yanagashita isn't really listening. He's too full of enthusiasm. It's time I got a line on This time I got a line on 10 million yen. So come on, let's get ourselves stinking rich. He punctuates his grand announcement by pointing fervently at some non-existent listener. Oh no! I don't exist! I don't exist, guys! Oh, it slideshowed it away. Did this not? Several weeks later? Bad ending, I'm sure. Iron Stomach, a celebration of truly astonishing appetites. When the mighty stomach triumphs over endless covers, a hero will emerge. Something. Oh my god! Good end, surely. Oh my goodness. Look at how happy everyone is. I stand with Cheery on the winner's podium. The cheers and applause are deafening when the master of ceremonies makes the announcement. Cheery is the champion. She laughs with delight as she holds up the trophy that signifies her 10 million yen win. And me, I got a runner-up. What? Even Maria? I wasn't too into the idea at first, but after giving it a shot, I found that professional gluttony actually kind of grows on you. What? Even I was surprised by how much I could eat, and I had to admit, it felt kind of good. My memory still hasn't come back, but that doesn't matter anymore. I found myself a new purpose. Professional gluttony. To steal Cheery's spot on the throne! That right there is now my greatest goal in life. Oh my god. Bad ending. What do you mean? That was such a great ending. The throne of gluttony. Tama never got her memories back. She ended up starting a new life on the competitive eating circuit, which may not be a horrible fate, but wouldn't it have been better if she recovered her old life as Maria? When she was cornered in the alley with the man with the cane, there's someone who could have turned up and helped her out. Yanagashita? What? But he can't do that if he ends up getting tied up at the knick-knack shop. What? Yanagashita can show up and help her out of... What? Okay then. I thought that whole thing with the guy with the cane didn't end up too badly, but okay then. So someone else gets him tied up there. I have my doubts on who it is, but we're just gonna have to go into someone else for now. Where did Achi leave off of? Oh yeah, walking with Kainan, huh? I feel like it's not gonna be him. Sasayama, I'm worried about Sasayama, yeah. I get the feeling Minorikawa is the guy who got Yanagashita, like, put in the knick-knack shop. Let's see. It's just a feeling, but I could be wrong. Let me go drink some water. Huh. Wait a second. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. Ah! Minorikawa stopped and let out a cry of frustration. Daisuke Endo had asked him of a favor after the interview was done. He'd promised to tell the Wandering Angels that the dry ice machine they'd purchased was defective. Oh no. Oh look, it's episode 5. At last, the climax of the plague drew near. There was a whole string of troubles, but the cast soldiered on. It looked like nothing was going to end. Looked like things were going to end all right. And then backstage, Bando noticed that the dry ice machine was acting strangely. Even after it had been turned off, the machine continued to churn out more dry ice. The producer, Tsukozawa demanded that the defective device be returned immediately, and so Tozuka Bando and Amo loaded it into their vehicle and left the theater. Continued in episode 6. Well, damn. That had completely slipped his mind. If he recalled correctly, the issue was once the machine started making dry ice, it wouldn't stop. If he ran back to the theater now, he'd lose about 10 minutes. Minorikawa checked his wristwatch. The lone people would be coming by the editing office before too long. He needed to prove to them that that next month's issue of 4-Star General Gossip was well underway, or else they'd refuse to wait any longer for repayment. And to do that, he needed to fill a minimum of 6 of the 12 remaining blank pages. He couldn't afford to waste even a single second. This is an awkward position to be in. He needed to keep his promise to Endo. But he also needed to spend his time wisely. Guess I don't have a choice. Well, we can... I wish we could just, like, call them and go like, "Ayo, by the way, your dry ice machine, I completely forgot." But I guess we promised, right? Let's see. He agreed to take on a responsibility. He headed back for the theater. When he got there, he flagged down the first guy he saw to tell them about the dry ice machine. "Hey, make sure you remember what I'm about to tell you, okay? Dry ice machine is broken." The man stared back at him blankly, but Minorikawa just forged ahead. "Got it? The dry ice machine is broken. It needs to go back to the electronics store. Make sure you let the folks in charge here know." His obligation met, he hurried back to the cafe to work on his copy. Along the way, he caught sight of a young couple running. Again? Without Keinan, huh? They seemed like an odd pair. The girl looked all prim and proper, while the boy struck him as a bit thuggish. In fact, the boy's clothing was very much the style worn by Shibuya street gangs. Maybe he'd know something about SOS. Hurrying to cross their path, Minorikawa called out to the pair. "Oh my god! We stopped them! Hey, mind if I ask you something? Have you heard of SOS?" The pair stopped, eyeing him warily. The young man spoke. "Yeah, why do you ask? Do you happen to be a member yourself?" "No, not anymore." "Well, if the kid had once been part of the group, he ought to be able to provide some background anyhow." Minorikawa took a step closer to the couple, formulating his next question. They looked so confused, but they didn't stick around to hear it. "Let's go," the young man said, and a moment later he and the girl were running away. No! Hey! But the pair paid him no heed. In a moment, they had vanished down an alley. The story about SOS would have to wait until later then. Somehow I feel like that's good though, right? That's like a lead. At least he has a lead on SOS. Minorikawa hurried into the cafe. Wasting no time, he sat right down and plugged his laptop into the nearest power outlet. He plunked himself down on the floor and hit the computer switch. The waitress gave him a disapproving look. "Sir, I'm afraid you can't sit there." "Well, it looks like your tables are full. I'll make do here." Well, being able to make do isn't really the issue. I'll have a coffee, please." She's so pissed off. Oh my god. Just do whatever you want. The waitress turned away and stared vacantly up at the ceiling. He's like the worst Yeah, I can't believe he's not freaking banned. Like, at some point you would think he'd get thrown out and go like, "Nope, you're not allowed to be here." You know? A person can only get away with being obnoxious for so long. Sooner or later, someone's likely to call the police. Minorikawa looked up from his work and startled to see the Burning Hammer salesman standing over him. "Ew, you're Mr. Yanagashita. Thanks so much for stopping by earlier. Are you gonna write your article here?" Yanagashita eyed Minorikawa's computer. "Oh, that's the latest model, isn't it? Look, I got no time to talk right now." Minorikawa opened the file with a half-written copy. "Oh, what's this? Chaos at bogus weight loss drink sales demo." Yanagashita read the copy aloud. The organizer, Junichi Yanagashita, didn't merely have a whiff of deceit about him. His breath also stunk. "Sound good?" Minorikawa asked. "I wanted to make sure I gave them an accurate impression." "Oh, I love what you've done with it. This is a great copy. Fantastic." Yanagashita turned to look at him with a manic grin. "Yeah, isn't it?" In a flash, Yanagashita's face went from grinning to livid. "Like hell it is! You think I'm just gonna let you write something like that?" Oh my god, no way! Snatching up the computer, Yanagashita bolted out of the cafe and made the time to make faces at Minorikawa outside the door. Hey, get back here! He just ran! Yeah, he grabbed the computer and ran! Minorikawa leapt to his feet and rushed off in pursuit. Oh my god. I can see why he got tied up in the knick-knack store. As he sprinted madly along, Yanagashita turned down a narrow alley. Minorikawa stayed close behind, desperate not to lose sight of him. His quarry began to weave his way through the back alleys of Shibuya. This guy clearly knew his way around town. By Miyashita Park, they zipped up onto a pedestrian bridge. Just where the heck was this idiot going? Halfway across the overpass, Yanagashita suddenly stopped. Oh no. Confused, Minorikawa stopped as well. Give that back, he called. Oh no, is he gonna hold it over the overpass? The next moment, Yanagashita flashed a mocking grin and dangled the laptop over the rail. Ain't no way! Uh-oh. Minorikawa lunged towards him, but it was too late. The laptop left Yanagashita's hand and went spinning down through the air. As the two men struggled, Yanagashita himself toppled over the railing. Without hesitating, Minorikawa jumped down as well. Bros! What the hell? Why did you both? Oh my god. It's safe! It's safe! Minorikawa landed hard. Ooh! He landed on like the little fence thing. Eee! As he his way to catch it like that. It made no sense at all. Hey! Minorikawa shouted between gasping breaths. What are you planning to do with my laptop? Yanagashita glanced back at him. Gonna sell it! Sorry about this. What? Minorikawa was taken aback. Consider it compensation for defamation of character. Oh no! Come on, get real! It can't be defamation if the article hasn't run yet. Then consider it an advance on the compensation. It was so nonsensical it made Minorikawa's head hurt. But at least now he knew why Yanagashita had dived after the computer. The thief continued to weave his way through the side streets. His speed didn't diminish in the slightest. Damn it, this guy has too much experience running away. Oh my god. Yanagashita, have you ever considered running competitively? Minorikawa's stamina began to fade and he finally lost sight of his quarry. But that didn't mean he was ready to give up the search. There were articles on the computer that were right on the verge of completion. Whatever it took, he had to get it back. Yanagashita said he was gonna sell it. Where could he be headed then? It's probably the knick-knack shop, but I hope he doesn't get tied up if I go there, right? I hope so. Let's see. He was probably headed to a knick-knack shop. Minorikawa recalled seeing one near the Burning Hammer sales demo site. He also recalled seeing a poster outside the place that's read, "We buy computers at top prices." Oh my god, he actually remembers that. Even though he ran by in a hurry. Damn! That guy had led him on a wild goose chase. That shop was surely where he was going to sell the laptop. Gulping a deep breath, he headed in that direction. There you are, Yanagashita. Minorikawa burst into the shop and sent her guy, an accusing finger pointing squarely at the thief. Listen! There's no way I'm buying a computer that doesn't have a power cable. Details, details. All you sell here is junk anyway. Yanagashita and the shopkeeper had gotten into an argument. Minorikawa recognized the shopkeeper. It was the guy he'd run into the roadside earlier. The computer belongs to me, Minorikawa shouted as he marched up to them. Give it back! Yanagashita clutched the laptop to his chest. Nah, I need the money. Knock it off, you're acting like a child. Minorikawa tried to slap him out of his tantrum, but Yanagashita ducked to avoid the blow. Then, bizarrely, Yanagashita froze. A fierce gleam came to his eyes. Oh my god, his eyes became red. He broke into an incomprehensible stammer. That's it! Yanagashita snatched up a flyer that his gaze had fixed on. Iron stomach, huh? This right here's the little bluebird of happiness. He cried. You know what? You can have this. Yanagashita shoved the laptop into Minorikawa's arms. And welcome to it, you idiot. I don't need no wordless computer. You're the idiot, Buster! Minorikawa smacked Yanagashita right across the face. Ouch! Hitting him felt good. He decided to do it again. He drew back his arm to deliver another blow, but someone else came into the shop. Yanagashita's eyes lit up as soon as he saw who it was. Oh, my angel! Whatever is my darling Miku doing here? Miku stood in the doorway, on the verge of tears. Mr. Minorikawa, she began, then her voice choked up. Miku? What's the matter? Is something wrong? Miku drew in closer to Minorikawa's side. Huh? Yanagashita's gaze darted back and forth between Minorikawa and Miku. You two know each other? Sort of. More to the point, is she really the girl you said you were in love with? That's right, the one and only Miku! I have her entrance music set as my ringtone. Paying no heed to Yanagashita's excitement, Miku kept her eyes fixated on Minorikawa. What is this strange turn of event? It just keeps getting worse and worse. I lost to a girl who knows Aiki Jujutsu. I lost! She buried her face in Minorikawa's chest. Yanagashita let out a gasp. What's this about? What is this about? He seemed on the verge of panic. Mr. Minorikawa, I need to learn Aiki Jujutsu. I feel so ashamed. She buried her face even deeper into Minorikawa's chest. That's so unfair! Oh my god, Yanagashita's face! With tears in his eyes, Yanagashita darted out the door. Minorikawa glared after the pathetic fellow as he scampered off. This guy sure knows how to take advantage of a bad situation, I'll give him that, he murmured. Nope, we're not tying him up. We're leaving him be so he can run into Maria. Anyhow, I'm just glad I got my partner back. Ordinarily, he'd be inclined to pursue Yanagashita and subject him to a tirade, at the very least, but there was no time for that now. He explained the situation to the shopkeeper, who flashed a sympathetic smile. Ah, is that so? Lucky for you he screwed up then. Much as I'm happy to do business, but I can't just buy a computer that doesn't come with its accessories. So you'd have bought it from him if he had the accessories? Of course! Stolen or not, it's all the same once I've sold it. The shopkeeper chuckled unapologetically. Huh, I suppose that's true. Minorikawa laughed along with him. Yeah, all the same. Like hell it is! He roared. The shopkeeper froze like a startled rabbit. I bet everything you have for sale here has been stolen, hasn't it? Don't be ridiculous. I'll warn you up front, there's no use hiding things from me. I've interviewed you after all. I know you. The shopkeeper was getting more and more flustered. Well, I mean, look, this is just between you and me, okay? Sometimes I go around gathering stuff that people have lost and I sell it here, but it's not stolen. It's just repurposed. There's nothing wrong with that, right? The shopkeeper smiled ingratiatingly. You moron! Minorikawa stuck his finger in the man's face. Miku is still in the background. Miku is still sad in the background. Selling lost property is a serious crime too. It is? Well, I mean, I guess I sort of figured it might be sometimes. Well, I'm not the police. I'm more into curiosity than legality. In fact, I find this all pretty fascinating. I mean, what sort of things have you gathered up for sale? Well, let me see, like this and that and that and that. The man pointed to various items on the shelves. And also this and that and that and that and that, I guess? Minorikawa's eyes were directed to all over the shop. All kinds of stuff, then. Everything the shopkeeper had pointed out had a hefty price tag. And you're actually able to sell things like this? Minorikawa asked. Sure, I can sell stuff. Earlier today, someone bought a big necklace. I'd listed it for 40,000 yen, but I discounted it to 30,000. And you can still make a profit, even offering discounts. Sure, I mean, it was just something I found lying on the ground after all. Minorikawa looked back at him, and for a moment, he laughed as well. Then his face turned hard. This is no laughing matter, he bellowed. You need to stop what you're doing here right away. Otherwise, you're going to find out what it's like to be punished by my pen of justice. I'm so sorry. The shopkeeper bowed repeatedly. This is a lot of scoops right here, Minorikawa. The scoop of him selling lost stuff or stolen stuff. The scoop of Miku, like, losing and resigning as, like, the top fighter There's a lot of scoops in one place. He just doesn't realize it, I guess. Minorikawa glared. The truth was that right now, he was so busy he'd have to let this guy slide. Still, this whole asinine affair had eaten up a big chunk of time he didn't have to waste. He was still going to have to finish his coffee back at the editing office. Oh no, he was going to have to finish it at the editing office. Okay, laptop in hand, he left the shop, only to stop short when a slight figure stepped out in front of him. Miku be like, "You forgot about me, bro!" "Mr. Minorikawa!" Miku stood there, barring his path. "Please introduce me to a dojo where I can learn Aiki Jujutsu." "I'm sorry, I don't really have time for this right now." Minorikawa tried to hurry onward, but she stubbornly refused to let him pass. "You introduced me to that other dojo before, remember?" "I suppose so, now that you mention it." He tried to slip by her on her right-hand side, but she was too quick to block him. "You were the one who introduced me to the world of martial arts, Mr. Minorikawa." "Well, yes, you're kind of putting me in a bit of a bind here." Trying to slip by on her left was a no-go too. She could anticipate his every move. "Please, just hear me out," Miku said. She was now speaking through quiet sobs. "I can't stand to leave things like this." She looked Minorikawa right in the eye. How about this one, right? Like, because A is just like, deal with it. C is like, I can't, like, I'm just gonna leave you. So, this is a good opportunity for you. You can find something to do with yourself that isn't martial arts. What? You were the champion at that one pub, right? Maybe now that you're done with that, you should find a little more girlish line of work instead. Miku began to tremble. "Oh no, I got slapped." "You jerk!" Miku delivered a blindingly fast slap to Minorikawa's cheek. "Why'd you have to put it like that? You're so mean!" Bursting into tears, Miku ran off. "Hey, Miku!" She gave no sign she'd heard him and didn't turn around. Minorikawa rubbed his cheek. It stung. For once, he actually regretted what he said. Maybe he shouldn't have assumed she would just be willing to give up her hobby. In fact, he did know of several Aiki Jujutsu dojo. Damn it! If only he had the time, he could have introduced her easily enough. Checking his watch, he saw that he only had 30 minutes to change until 4 o'clock. There was no more wiggle room at this point. Articles needed to get written, and fast. He needed to go back to the editing department. And yet... damn it all to hell. I can't get work done like this. Minorikawa broke into a run. He went after Miku. Oh, okay, I messed that up then. Oh no, I didn't. It's a keep out. What the fuck? I thought I messed it up. Sorry, Toyama. We're going after Miku. I see. So if we're at a bad ending or keep out, they're in gray? Oh, maybe it's just because we did stuff already. Alright, here we are, I guess. We pick up from here. Yanagashita should show up, I guess. Okay, he's still quiet. And she's thinking about who she is. If for some reason the text in the middle makes me think of Persona. I am Thou. Thou art I. Tama! Tama! I am... Tama? Question. Tama Hitomi? None of the above. My god, trick questions. Tama? Bruh. I turn at the sound of an exuberant voice and see Mr. Yanagashita running my way, flailing his arm in a friendly greeting. I swear, this guy could wind up banished to the pits of hell and he'd still give it his all day in and day out. Oh, thank goodness. It is you, Tama. I knew it. Yanagashita, truly the hero we deserve. For real. The man with the cane grumbles something incoherent, then holsters his gun and flees the scene. Huh. Now you're with some middle-aged guy? You look so sweet and innocent, but I guess you kind of get around, huh? Oh my god, boss! Nice timing! I do a little fist bump. Whatever he's doing here, I'm glad he drove that guy off with drove off that guy with the gun. What are you so happy about? Yanagashita gives me a puzzled look. He's promptly distracted by his own excitement. Well, never mind that, Tama. He shifts down to a conspiratorial whisper. You know, I'm such an idiot. I can't believe I was in such a tizzy over some silly little scratch card from a magazine. I can tell he has news he's itching to tell me. Did something happen? Well, tea. Oh no, he's doing the tea. He brings his hand to his mouth and giggles unsettlingly. I had a great little idea. A great way to strike it rich. I feel like I've heard this from you before. Mr. Yanagashita shakes his head fervently. This time it's different. We're talking way more digits than before. Now try not to be too surprised, yeah? Spittle flies from his mouth as he rattles on. Or, it's okay to be surprised, actually. In fact, I'm guessing you're definitely gonna be amazed this time, Tama. I can practically see the banknotes dancing in his eyes. Cut to the chase already. What is it you want to tell me? This time, get this, I got a line on 10 billion yen! He thrusts his index finger skywards, grinning ear to ear. Surprised now? Yeah, you are. And it doesn't require any capital. It's a no-risk, high-return. Oh my god. There's a crazy gleam in his eye. Oh man, I think I'm finally gonna be part of the Billionaires Club. Tama's face? Is this guy for real right now? That's so ridiculous, I don't even have a snappy retort for it. Never mind that 10 million yen obviously wouldn't make him a billionaire. By the way, you haven't seen Cheery, have you? We're gonna need her help to wrap up this 10 million yen. Cheery? No, I haven't run into her since the sales demo. Ah, darn. Well, I guess if you happen to see her, tell her to get in touch with me. Sure, alright. I still don't know what he's going on about, but there's probably no harm in being helpful. Thank you, Tama. Guess I may as well give you a little hint. A hint? Yeah, a hint. Wanna hear it? No. If she knows, what if we end up, like, at the contest again? No, not particularly. Oh, okay. Well, anyways, thanks for helping me out with the Cheery thing. Adios! And just like that, like a whirlwind, Mr. Yanagashita zooms away, leaving me alone in the alleyway. Suddenly I feel totally exhausted. I let out a sigh and drop my eyes. That's when I notice a notebook on the ground at my feet. Did the assassin drop this? I pick it up and look inside. Oh? There's a photograph tucked inside the back cover. It shows 3 young people, 2 boys and a girl. Huh. Somehow I feel like the girl seems familiar, like she might be one of the twins. I don't know, question mark? Well, let's see. Let's see what that will be important for later on. Well, what do I do now? Do I go to the police? How would I even explain the situation? I can see it now. There's this killer out there and he's after this person named Hitomi Osawa. And then the police would be like, who's that? And who exactly is after her? And then what would I say? Heck, they might not even give me the time of day in the first place. 2 boys and a girl, which one gets NTR? No! No, you hate to see it. Not only do I have no idea who Hitomi Osawa is, I know nothing about the guy who's after her except that he walks with a cane. I can't even tell them who I am. They'd probably shoo me away without a second thought. What am I supposed to do? I hang my head at a total loss. The necklace around my neck sways idly to and fro. Ooh, keep out. I mean, I think it's totally fine for her to go to the police. It will be one thing off of their, like, their thoughts, right? Then they'd only have to think about securing Hitomi. And, you know, Tanaka, because Tanaka's the bad guy. I don't know. I want to know if Sasayama will pull through. I want to see if he'll make it. Please, Sasayama. Kano practically dived from the car when it arrived on the scene in Maruyamacho. The place was teeming with officers and onlookers alike. Out of the way! Please, move aside! Kano forced his way through the throng. Sasayama was lying in a massive pool of blood. Sasayama! Kano rushed to his partner's side. The knife was still embedded deep in Sasayama's belly. Its handle shuddered each time he drew a labored breath. Guess I messed up. Sasayama could only manage a raspy murmur. Don't talk, it's fine. Please don't try to talk, Kano urged. Looks like I won't be celebrating the missus's birthday. Sasayama drew a small package from his pocket. It has been neatly wrapped and fitted with a pretty little ribbon. Here, give this to Mi-chan for me. Kano shook his head. No way. You can give it to her yourself. You've never met Mi-chan, huh? She's real pretty. Probably surprised. How pretty is she? I know. You've told me all about her. Kano, please. Give this to my wife for me. No! Sasayama, stop triggering death flags in every part of the conversation. Mustering up the last of his strength, Sasayama pressed the gift into Kano's hand. Sasayama? His hand dropped back down into the puddle of blood. A paramedic team finally arrived at the scene. Sasayama was loaded into the ambulance. Kano felt a surge of rage roiling inside of him. Clenching his fist so hard his nails dug into his palm, he marched over to the captive Al-Karawan. You son of a bitch! He wound up for a punch through Al-Karawan's face, only to have his arm forcibly caught by the elbow. Spinning around, he found Stanley standing there. Let go of me, Stanley! But the American had a grip of steel, and Kano's arm wouldn't budge. They allow you to assault suspects here in Japan, do they? Kano bit his lip and then lowered his shaking fist. No, of course not, he growled. Al-Karawan let out a nasal chuckle as he watched the pair. With a cold glare, Stanley strolled over to him. Don't tell me they're whispering something we don't know. Okay, yeah, they are. He leaned in close to whisper something, and all at once the blood drained from Al-Karawan's face. Visibly shaken, Al-Karawan said something back to Stanley. Stanley gave a slight nod, then left the captive with the police escort. Kano went over to him. Hey, what was that all about? Apparently, Al-Karawan gave Hitomi some instructions. Told her to get into a blue minivan that was parked along Dogenzaka, so Stanley's hunch had been correct. But why had Al-Karawan confessed so quickly? How'd you get him to talk? You don't need to know that. I don't know. Kinda sus. It's kinda sus considering Kanan was also saying that Stanley is dangerous. He might be a little bit in on this more than we thought, but let's see. Stanley went to report the news about the blue van to the task force. Kuze immediately directed the detectives nearest Dogenzaka to look into it, but they found no blue minivan in the area. Then the order came down to search for all personnel to search for the vehicle. Kano thought back to another item in the Dick diary. Oh my god, he didn't bring this out for a long time. Dick dictum number 14. Use the dead as a stepping stone, but be sure to die a stepping stone yourself. What? Okay. In the abstract, Kano could appreciate the nobility of self-sacrifice, but when he thought of Sasayama's blood-stained figure, it wasn't so easy to keep his emotions in check. First time you've ever seen a fellow officer get hurt? Let's go, Dick Dictum, woohoo! Stanley had come back over to him. We don't have time to relax. If you can't keep your anger in, then do something about it. Here and now. Stanley pointed to his own jaw. Hit me, American style. Kano smiled wryly at the unexpected proposal. Let's not, right? Let's not. What if you're setting me up too? I'm sus of you, okay? No thanks, I'll be fine. Hitting this man wasn't gonna make Kano feel any better. Stanley's expression remained unchanged. It's not like I don't understand why you wanted to punch the guy, he said quietly. If I didn't have to question him, I wouldn't have stopped you. Kano wasn't sure to make of that. Are you encouraging me? Stanley held his arms wide. Don't know. Maybe. Kuze's voice suddenly cut in over the wireless. We've located the blue minivan. It's in Jinan 1... It's probably Ichi. Ichome? Ichome? One Chome on Koendori. I don't know, guys. He told me he might be there. And if maybe the kidnapper's ringleader would turn up too. On pure reflex, Kano broke into a run. Stanley followed close behind. They sped through the back streets, making their way to Koendori. Kano was a pretty fast runner, but Stanley kept up with him without apparent difficulty. Were you in the army or something? No, the Marines. Oh my god, One Piece flashbacks. It wasn't much further to Koenzori. Kano, if we find that van, don't get too close, Stanley warned. It could be a trap. These people will do anything to carry out their goals. Anything, huh? For sure. Kano's seen a lot of death today. Kano could sense the truth in Stanley's words. He reminded himself that his life could depend on remembering them. He raised his eyes and they were coming up on Koenzori. Suddenly, a boom as loud as cannon fire shook the area. Something's wrong, Kano thought. That's no ordinary city noise. Maybe their transformer. Oh. Okay, that actually is not a transformer. Okay. The column of black smoke rose up from between two buildings nearby. Passers-by stopped and stared, gasping in alarm. Ooh, we got a video. Oh, that's kind of dizzying. Okay, I see it now. Is that the blue minivan that got blown up? It could be, huh? Kano saw flames. This hadn't been an accident. Someone had set off an explosion. Several people were on the ground nearby, evidently injured by the detonation. Mr. Minorikawa! Mr. Minorikawa! A middle-aged schoolgirl was middle-aged schoolgirl. Wait, what? What is wrong with me? My mind could not comprehend the sentence. A high school age girl. How did it be? That's completely different. My bad. A high school age girl was crying, clinging tightly to a man who had been caught in the blast. Kano recognized her as the girl he'd talked to earlier during the traffic jam. The man looked like he might still be alive. Kano hurried over to them. Police, he announced. No, Minorikawa, you can't die! What? Never let your dreams be dreams. You can be a high school girl even when middle age. Yeah. Blood was streaming from the man's mouth. He'd clearly suffered some internal damage. Hang in there, buddy, Kano told him. Stay with us. The man's face twisted up in pain, but he somehow managed to croak out a few words. Kano let out a gasp. The man's voice was almost too weak to hear, but what he heard still shocked Kano to the core. This man knew something important. Something crucial to the investigation. What? What the fuck did Minorikawa know? We were literally Minorikawa right before Kano. Like, right before Kano and Maria. Rescue vehicles arrived on the scene and the wounded man was promptly loaded onto a stretcher. When he was placed inside the ambulance, Kano flashed his badge at the paramedics and got in alongside him. The man had already fallen unconscious. Kano didn't know when he'd wake back up, but he knew he needed to hear what the guy had to say. He sensed that this stranger was the key to unlocking the entire case. Bro, I'm getting goosebumps! What?! But though Kano kept a lonely vigil, the man never woke again. Oh my god. The antiviral that had been given to Hitomi. The blue minivan that Al-Karawan told Hitomi to look for. And now the minivan exploding. Kano was sure that this man knew how all of these tied together. But now the key to solving the case was gone for good. What?! Rip Minorikawa. You're not supposed to die like this. A blown lead. I think it is the van in the opening scene. It seems very familiar, right? Yeah, right? Because I do remember that... You're right! In the opening scene, there was a guy tied up inside a van. And then a girl was outside the window, right? And then it blows up. Shit. But I don't remember it that well. So, like, I can't say, like, who could have been in there. But I feel like the girl who was at the window could have been Miku, right? Oh, well, let's see. Kano tried to get information from a man caught in the explosion, but he arrived too late. If Minorikawa hadn't been caught in the blast, things could have gone differently for Kano. At 15:30, somebody shouts something, and depending on what they shout, both Kano and Minorikawa's fates may change. Someone shouts something? Could it be Achi? Could it be that Achi shouts something? Because Achi is the only other person, right? Achi... Wait. See, Osawa looks like he's at home. So if Osawa is at home, he can't do anything about this. Also, kind of cool that he starts at 30 minutes in. But... yeah, if he's at home at the same time that it blows up, there's no way he's gonna make it. So the only person who could do it is Achi. The mastermind. I mean, Achi has been running around all over the place. Surely. Keinan led them into a narrow back alley, and the moment she stopped, Hitomi spoke up. Members of SOS don't come by here very much. Word has it, in this place around 10 years ago, one man beat the crap out of 7 street toughs in the blink of an eye, all by himself. Over time, people have offered various theories, that he was an assassin, some foreign soldier, or he may have even been a ghost. To this day, the urban legend lives on. Okay, so it's a urban legend back alley. Why was my sister kidnapped? Before I answer that, there's something I need to tell you, Keinan said. Her tone was cold and sharp. I've come to Japan because I'm on a mission. I'm not at the liberty to discuss all the details. Alright. Hitomi gave a slight nod. To answer your question, Maria was kidnapped by mistake. What? Hitomi gasped. But why? Because the kidnapper isn't after Maria, they're after you. Who's after me? The mastermind behind this whole thing, Keinan said. Her tone was a matter of fact. Whoa, hold on, Achi interrupted. What did they want Hitomi for? That, I cannot say. Then who is this person? I cannot tell you that either. You see, their sex, nationality, age, appearance, just about everything about them is shrouded in mystery. So there's honestly not much I can tell you. Achi and Hitomi stood dumbfounded. What gives? Achi said. So you're saying all you know is that the person has some lame name like Mastermind? Hitomi turned to whisper in his ear. Mastermind isn't actually their name. It's a descriptor. I'm here, Keinan spat, because I'm looking for revenge. Revenge? Hitomi asked. What for? This person also killed my friend. The mastermind, huh? Keinan's inscrutable eyes flashed with a threatening gleam. Earlier, you said it was your fault that my sister got kidnapped, Hitomi said. Keinan cast her eyes down. 4 days ago, I managed to learn this criminal's plan, so I got in touch with Maria, and I told her that you were going to be attacked at that party. So that's why she told me not to go. Hitomi's voice trembled as she spoke. I gave Maria a small GPS tracker to give to you, but I guess you never got it. GPS. Oh, it has a video. Ah, it's loud. Me when the GPS jump scares me. What the fuck? Okay. Hitomi shook her head. I see. She must still have it then. Wait, so then my sister... Color drained from Hitomi's face as she understood. Yes, Keinan replied. Maria acted as a decoy and let herself get kidnapped in your stead. Hitomi swayed on her feet, shocked to the verge of fainting. Achi hurriedly reached out and caught her in his arms. But wait, he said to Keinan as he held Hitomi up. I don't get that either. Why didn't neither of them go? Then nobody would have been kidnapped, right? I mean, why'd her sister have to go and act as a decoy? Keinan let out a tiny sigh. If she hadn't gone to the party, the kidnappers would have just found some other opportunity to come after her. Ah, okay, Achi nodded. That sort of makes sense. I'm betting that Maria's plan was to use the GPS to lead me to these guys' hideout. She said... she wanted to keep her sister safe, and also figured she could help me with my mission. It's the sort of scheme she'd think of. So, can't you use your GPS to locate Hitomi's sister? Achi asked. Keinan shook her head. GPS hasn't been powered on since she was kidnapped. It's possible the kidnappers took it from her. Wait, What? So even after all that, you can't find Maria? Achi slumped his shoulders in disappointment. I didn't say that. What do you mean? I got intel from the syndicate members we met earlier. Apparently, sometime this morning, they put Maria into a blue minivan, and since then, they've been moving her all around Shibuya. No, that's not true! Okay then. They lied to you, Kanan! Also, like, fun fact, when I was, like, preparing the thumbnails for this, like, this stream, specifically, I learned that there's actually a sequel anime of sorts, for Shibuya Scramble, which is called Kanan. It's apparently focused on Kanan herself and Maria, I think. I didn't look into it because they said it was the sequel, so I was like, I'm gonna get spoiled, so I'm not gonna look. But you know, I thought it was worth mentioning because maybe I'll like check it out after we finish the game and stuff. Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances at the mention of a blue minivan. Unfortunately, Kanan continued, those operatives didn't know exactly what the current situation was. So we're back to the blue van then. Achi hurriedly explained what they've been through so far. He mentioned how they'd first seen the blue van where the kidnappers had told Hitomi to find it. He'd also described how first the man with the cane and then the host of others had come after them. He got a little sidetracked here and there, but Kanan quietly listened to the end. I see, she muttered. So then, what do you think? Achi asked. Seems like we messed up their scheme a little, huh? Whatever the case is, this man with the cane concerns me, Kanan said. I doubt he's working with the others. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's it. Some guy who isn't involved butts in and it throws off their whole plan. Kanan nodded in agreement. Because you and that man with the cane showed up, she said, they couldn't leave the minivan where it was. They took a sensible precaution. But then, if you think about it, isn't this an opportunity for us to turn the tables on Mr. Mastermind? Kanan flashed him a faint speculative smile. I wonder about that. Oh, come on, Achi grumbled. You're such a buzzkill. Any well-made plan is a good, solid outline, which means that, even after it's come into fruition, it's easy to trace things back to the planner. Is that how it works? By contrast, if you achieve your goals by using accidental means, the outline becomes blurred, and it makes it harder for anyone outside, looking in, to grasp what the actual plan is. Achi swallowed hard as he took in the gravity of the situation. Well, but, I mean, like, if there's an accident, people are for sure gonna panic. Plan or not. Corners of Kanan's lips curled up. Typically, I suppose. But the people who are after Hitomi, not only have they put together a perfect plan, they've purposely left certain tiny holes in it. And so, we can't even figure out who they are. The outline of the plan is always too blurry. Achi had no response to that. It was like hearing about something completely different world that beyond the one that he knew. If what Kanan said has been true, then he'd been dealing with opponents that were on a level way above his own. In any event, since these people are after you, it would be best if you didn't wander around town anymore, Kanan told him. By now, Hitomi had recovered. She stood up straight and shook her head. No, I'm going to find that blue minivan. My sister's in danger because of me. I can't abandon her just to save myself. Yeah, that's right. Achi patted Hitomi on the back. And if that's what you're gonna do, and I don't care who we're up against. I'm with you until the end. Heck, that's too late for me to back out now. That ship has already sailed. Hitomi giggled despite herself. It's already sailed, Achi. Definitely nothing will go wrong with that minivan. Definitely. Yeah. Kanan let out a little sigh. Surely nothing will go wrong with the blue minivan. Alright, let's just make sure you're extra careful, she said. You can't count on getting bailed out of trouble like you have before. I understand, Hitomi said. Her eyes shadowed no trace of doubt or fear. Kanan gave her a slight nod, then quickly disappeared down the alleyway. Alright then, Achi said. Want to get back to looking for that minivan? He then stopped, remembering their own previous efforts. If they just heedlessly wandered around town, they'd probably end up in the same trouble they'd encountered before. They'd get chased by the man with the cane, or by the kidnappers, and then their search would be interrupted yet again. What should they do then? There had to be a better way. Achi happened to glance upward and caught sight of a surveillance camera installed on one of the streetlights. That's it, right? Oh, there you go. I can't believe I didn't think of that before. Hitomi peered at him, startled by his sudden shouting. We just need to use my old man's surveillance cameras and this thing will be a breeze. Hachi took Hitomi by the hand and started running. His destination? The security camera monitoring room in Zogenzaka. Hachi didn't slow his pace until they were nearing their destination. He then turned, looking back at Hitomi. He was about to ask if she was doing alright when someone close at hand called out to him. It was Minorikawa, okay. Hey, mind if I ask you something? Have you ever heard of SOS? Hachi stopped in his tracks as a stranger stepped in front of him. The guy looked too old to be picking a fight with SOS. Hachi regarded him with suspicion. Yeah, why do you ask? Do you happen to be a member yourself? No, not anymore. The man's eyes flashed with a gleam of recognition. Did this guy know who he was? With a broad grin, the stranger took a step closer. Hachi's heart sank. He couldn't afford to get caught up in some new hassle right now. Hitomi flashed him a worried look. Let's go. Sorry, bro. Hachi and Hitomi dodged past the man and hurried onward. Even if the guy was harmless, they needed to be under guard. There was just no telling how many thugs and assassins were looking for Hitomi. Rather than head directly for the surveillance building, Hachi decided he better make sure the stranger wasn't up to something. Hitomi followed as he slipped quickly into a back alley. There was no indication that the man was following them. What was that guy's deal? Hitomi asked. No idea, but he sure seemed kind of fishy. Doesn't seem like he's coming after us though. They took a quick detour through another seedy back alley. Then they were starting to head towards their original destination. Hachi felt a sudden searing pain in his back. Stabbed! Glancing over his shoulder, he discovered one of the foreign syndicate members had crept up and struck him from behind. Oh no! I've been stabbed! Bruh. There was no choice, this guy just shows up out of nowhere. Hitomi screamed. Another man had suddenly appeared, grabbing her by the arms. Sayonara. Hitomi. Hachi tried to reach out to her, but his arm was laden? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. His body refused to obey his commands. The attacker wrenched the knife from his back. Hachi felt the blood gushing out of his wound. The two men started to drag Hitomi away. Damn it. He tried to pursue them, but his legs faltered and couldn't find their footing. He was losing blood so fast that he was starting to fade from consciousness. Hachi could only watch, impotently. Why did they use that word? Okay. As Hitomi was dragged further and further away. Okay, how can we avoid this one? Is it that Minorikawa doesn't stop them? Let's see. He got stabbed in a surprise attack. If that weird guy hadn't tried to talk to him, okay. How can you keep that guy from wanting to interview Hachi? Okay. Let me check Minorikawa's choices. At best, it's just head straight to the cafe. Let's see. Minorikawa. Yeah, it's just head straight to the cafe. That's the only choice I can change here. There's nothing we can do about the Forgotten. Let us head on to the cafe. Sorry, Endo. Sorry, Orai. You're just gonna have to let this one slide. I've got Toyama's life on the line here. Understandable. Okay, you open the door of the cafe with the practice of a regular. Welcome. The waitress only got that far before her face fell. You again? Hey, hurry up and get me a seat. She grinned wickedly. I'm terribly sorry, sir, but we're full at the moment. He looks around. All of the seats were indeed filled. As you can see, sir. Really now? The waitress's grin widened with triumph. Yes, sir. Fine, I'll just write here. Get me some power. Jamming his power cable in the nearby outlet, he plugged himself right in the floor and booted up his laptop. Okay, this should connect then. No. I have to finish the scene for it to connect, I guess. When it saves again? Probably? Because this is the same thing already. I'm recognizing this. This is the same scenario. Let us wait for it. There you go. It unlocked. It connected. That should get Achi out of this death sentence. There we go. There. He turned to look back at Hitomi. It's only a little bit further now. Did you want to walk? I'll be alright. Ah, Achi, look out! Looking ahead again, Achi saw that they were bearing down on a young grade school girl. Her head hung in dismay. Achi. Eh? Is that Toyama's daughter? What if we catch her? Hurriedly caught the girl up in his arms. The maneuver kept her out of harm's way, but the momentum swung her high into the air. She dropped a sheaf of paper she was carrying. As luck would have it, the papers fell amidst the trash scattered alongside the road. Oh, sorry. Achi tried to gather up the sheets of paper, noting that each was adorned with some sort of writing. Here, looks like they got kind of messed up though. Oh no! No, I don't want to mess that up for her. No. Let's avoid her. No, I don't want to ruin her papers. I'm so sorry. Took a leap to the side. Yeah, there you go. He managed to avoid crashing into her by taking a tumble himself, but the girl was still definitely shocked. Sorry about that, Achi said. Are you alright? The girl didn't answer, or even meet Achi's eye. She just looked around as if in a daze. Was she waiting on someone, maybe? Odd kid, Achi thought. Hope she's okay. There we go. Once more, Achi and Hitomi set off running. Achi led Hitomi into an old, multi-tenant building as they hurried inside and headed up the stairs. Behind the reception window on the second floor sat the custodian, sleeping on the job. Yukinori Kitajima. His main job is overseeing the monitoring room of the surveillance cameras, but on the side he also works as a novelist and a game scenario writer. He often sleeps on the job during his free time, but sometimes while he's asleep he gets his writing done. What? Just recently, a certain game was released set in Shibuya. But since he wrote the scenario and emailed it to the game company while he was asleep, he didn't know about it until just the other day. Whoa! Hey, wake up, man! He can sleep right? That's insane. Achi gave the window a tap and the man woke up with a start. Huh? A chi-chi? Don't scare me like that. That's one chi too many. And wow, you sure seem to have a lot of free time on your hands. Yeah, no one's been by to check today. But that's not so bad, right? I mean, I guess it is the surveillance room, but still. The man let out a big yawn. My dad asked me to come down here and check on the security monitors, actually, Achi said. Sorry to bother you when you're busy, Hitomi added with a polite bow. Huh? Who are you? You with a Chi-Chi? I'm Hitomi Osawa. Nice to meet you. Oh, are you a Chi-Chi's girlfriend? Again, with the too many cheese there, and that's none of your business. Just let me have the key. Hoping his blush wasn't too obvious, Achi mimed unlocking a door. You won't answer a simple question and you want me to hand over the key? Yes, I'm his girlfriend, Hitomi said. We've just started dating. So I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you, sir. She flashed a winning smile. Oh, well, what a surprise. Never thought a Chi-Chi could land a fine lady like yourself. Surprised custodian let out the key. There's no such thing as too much chi. Good for you, a Chi-Chi. Still one chi too many there. But yeah, dating. Achi gazed into Hitomi's face, even more surprised than the custodian. The key dangled, swaying to and fro like a pendulum between Achi and the man behind the counter. Achi, Hitomi said, nudging him in the side with her elbow. Come on. Oh, right. Snapping out of it, Achi took the key and headed up the next floor. His face! He's so happy. I'm sorry, Hitomi said as they entered the monitoring room. For just saying we were dating like that, I mean, it was a pretty clumsy lie. No, it was kind of sudden, that's all. It was just a bit, jittery, I guess. Achi felt his cheeks color again. I mean, I figured I had to say something or he wasn't going to cooperate, Hitomi said. She looked a little embarrassed herself. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make things weird. No, nah. It wasn't weird at all. Actually, it was kind of... He stopped himself right there. Now wasn't the time for that kind of conversation. They needed to find that blue minivan. Achi be like, yeah. Our surveillance camera monitoring room is just a big office with a single computer. Are you serious? Achi knew it well. So this is the monitoring system, he explained. He switched on the computer. You can see all of downtown Shibuya from this one computer. I thought it was gonna zoom in like a horror. Hitomi gazed impatiently at the monitor, even though it wasn't showing anything yet. The sheer amount of determination on her face held Achi enthralled. You talk about how attractive your sister is, Achi murmured. But as far as I'm concerned, right now, you're the lovely one, Hitomi. Whoa. Hitomi looked at him uncertain. I mean, look at the lengths you're going to and the risks you're taking to save your sister, Achi said. I can't bear the thought that something might happen to her, and that the last time we were together I said such horrible things. Plenty of people do bad things without even realizing they're bad. Never mind trying to fix it. I'm just doing what I think is right. Yeah, but these days, most people don't do the right thing. Heck, if they did, Shibuya wouldn't be covered in trash like it is. Me, I appreciate it when someone really cares about the things that are important. Doing the right thing is a matter of course. That's very attractive. Achi blushed as he said it, and Hitomi shyly looked away. I think the system's ready. Turning to the computer, Achi hastily changed the subject. This thing's so simple, even I know how to use it. Clicking on the mouse, he brought up the row of 4 windows on the monitor. Each window showed a different view of the Shibuya cityscape. The image quality is not great, but I guess it's because it's being updated on a 2-second delay, I guess. Achi tapped on the keyboard, bringing up shots of different locations. Wait a minute, isn't that a blue minivan that just passed? He clicked on one of them in order to enlarge the image. Maybe we can really find that minivan with this. Hitomi was practically glued to the screen. My dad's the one who designed the security system. Your dad must be pretty amazing. Well, he graduated top of his class at Tokyo Denko University, a prestigious national university founded over a century ago. Applicants who place highly on the entrance exam can receive a full scholarship. Achi's father was one such attendee. The school has supported extensive research into artificial intelligence and recently announced that an AI program known as Body. While the computer is asleep, different personalities emerge, which have the impact on various normal thought processes, forming a network of more human-like thought patterns as a result. He always said that he could have a career in computer engineering, but he took over the electronics shop so that he could marry my mother instead. That's such a sweet story. Did they run the store together then? Achi shook his head. No, my mother died when I was 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Hitomi sounded even sadder than Achi. Well, anyway, never mind that. Here, look. LOL. Yanagashita. Minorikawa caught on camera. The seedy-looking weirdo they'd run into at Gigo was on the screen. Huh? That guy again? The said weirdo was running all out, a laptop computer under one arm. He was being chased by a man in a long coat. That guy sure gets chased around a lot, huh? Achi said. Caught in 4K, for real. When the weirdo slipped out of view, Achi switched to another camera. Oh my god, they're watching the entire chase! The new view showed the weirdo running again. By hopping from camera to camera, they could track him wherever he went. So long as we have these cameras, Achi said, this guy has nowhere to run. Huh. Nowhere to run, huh? The moment he said those words, they struck an odd chord in his mind. He remembered the repeated run-ins with the man with the cane, how the assassin had always seemed to know where to find them. Achi, please, he told me urged. Stop messing around and look for the minivan. No. Sorry, there's just something I'm curious about. Achi continued to track the seedy-looking man. The weirdo rushed into a knick-knack shop on Center Guy. Soon after, the man with the coat appeared and followed him into the shop. Ha! Looks like he snatched that guy's computer. Moments later, the weirdo came rushing back out of the shop again and sprinted away. He wove through the narrow alleyways with cat-like alacrity. Achi did his best to keep tabs on him, but then the man even managed to give him the slip. Wow, he told me sad. She too had been watching closely. I'm kind of impressed. Mind if I keep at it? Achi asked. Sure. He continued scanning the camera images, trying to locate the guy again. At this point, even Hitomi was invested in the quest to find the fugitive. Bruh. Never mind the minivan, I guess. But minutes passed and they didn't spot him. Achi was on the verge of giving up. Oh, that's me. Hitomi took out her cell phone. An email from Mr. Tana... Found him! Hachi's shout cut Hitomi off. The guy was in the back alley off of Center Guy. He was talking with someone. Huh? Is that... Achi blinked a few times as he leaned in closer to the screen. Hitomi, you have to look at this. Ah, that's my sister! Hitomi brimmed with excitement. For real? I think so. Yo, we finally... I'm glad we kept tabs on Yanagashita. She finally knows her sister is not in the fucking minivan. She knows that she's safe. Okay, good. What's she doing in a place like that? And why is she talking to that guy? I'm not sure. Monitor showed a cheerful little scene. Looks like they're having fun. Guess since they're twins, they're both into older guys. Achi felt his mood start to sour. I have to ask, are you sure she was kidnapped? Oh my god, Achi, what the fuck? Yes, at least I sure thought so. And so did the police. Then what's all this about? Should we go and see for ourselves? Guess so. Oh, what about that email? Achi said, pointing at Hitomi's cell phone. Shouldn't you take a look at that? My sister comes first. Good. We gotta stay away from Mr. Tanaka, okay? That place is... where she is. Is it far from here? No, not particularly. Achi and Hitomi rushed from the building, heading for the alleyway where Maria was talking to the computer thief. Here should be the... out of the keep out? Yahoo! Let's go! Suddenly, I hear someone call out, Maria! Huh? I spin around to see a young girl running towards me. Oh my god! She kind of looks like me. Behind her are two men. One of them is the man with the cane. He raises his gun and aims it at her. Oh no, he's going to shoot her! The instant I realize what he's doing, I'm lunging towards him. He shifts his grip on the gun and clubs me in the head. I stagger against the wall trying to keep my feet, but my legs buckle under me. I crumple on the spot. I don't even know why I tried to protect this girl. My body just moved on its own. Maybe it was just a reflexive impulse to help someone in danger. Is this a bad ending? But... am I the sort of person who'd risk her life to protect some complete stranger? We're dead! Oh my god, we're dead. Protecting the girl. Selfless but ill-fated. Of course, the strange girl is actually her sister. If you know what causes Hitomi to show up here, you can probably avoid this untimely end. Aww! But I want her to show up there. Okay then. It's not meant to be. We're supposed to look at the blue minivan. I see how it is. Wait. Then what happens? Do they also hit a bad ending? I wanna see though, I wanna see. Cause maybe before we get there we'll get a choice, right? Yeah, because this guy gets in the way. Before they get there, he gets in the way. Uh-oh, it's him. Gun in hand, the man with the cane slowly ambled towards them. Achi and Hitomi bolted down a nearby alley. Oh wait, there she is. Okay, let's see how this bad ending goes. Taking another turn, they reached the alley they'd seen on the cameras. Maria! Hitomi rushed over to her sister. But Maria just stood staring at Hitomi in silence, as if she couldn't process what was going on. Meanwhile, the assassin was still in pursuit. He had turned the corner behind him and was steadily drawing nearer. He pointed his gun at Hitomi's head. Come on, hurry! Achi urged. He tried to lead the two girls away, hoping to escape further down the alley. But instead, Maria charged boldly at the man with the cane. And died. The assassin was caught off guard by the unexpected counterattack, but he reacted quickly, clubbing the girl in the head with the grip of his pistol. Maria! Hitomi shrieked. She stared in horror as her sister collapsed in a heap on the ground. Then Hitomi's eyes rolled back in her head and she fainted into Achi's arms. Hitomi, hey! But the shock had overwhelmed her. She was out cold. It's so over. Slowly, the assassin lifted his gun again, aiming for Achi and Hitomi. Sayonara. If only he had Hitomi to protect. If he'd only had Hitomi to protect, there you go. Achi might have been able to pick her up and get away. But he couldn't just leave her sister here. He knew, with the chilling certainty of despair, that he could never save them both. Sayonara. I just wanted to get the bad ending because we were already there. Sisters in the alley. Never would have happened if he didn't get distracted. Okay. Minivan it is. I get it. I understand. At least we cleared the keep out though. I don't know if that keep out would have cleared if not. Okay. Let's focus on the minivan. Okay. Right. My bad. Achi switched over to a different camera. He continued switching views, scanning the streets of Shibuya, but there was no sign of a blue minivan anywhere. Still, they remained glued to the monitor. Mr. Tanaka, what do you want? Oh, that's me. Hitomi took out her cell phone. It's an email from Mr. Tanaka. Ah, okay. Yeah, it was about time for my mood to take a dip, Achi thought. What? Hitomi blurted. She looked up from her phone. Achi, Mr. Tanaka found a minivan. He what? What does it say? Read it to me. Okay, I ran after it, but I wound up losing sight of it. It was heading towards Jinan. That's what he said. What about your sister? Ah. No dice. Huh. Well, I suppose it's because I already broke out of her keep out. Was she inside? He doesn't say. Hachi switched over to an array of surveillance cameras near Jinan. The few seconds the transition took felt agonizingly slow. Finally, 4 new images popped up. Hachi quickly enlarged one of them. His face? No way! Ah! Hitomi let out a tiny gasp. There it is. There on the monitor was the blue minivan. There was no doubt about it. Now we go after that instead. Achi and Hitomi rushed from the building, speeding towards Jinan in an all-out run. Ta-da! Run, other guy who's looking for Miku. Okay, Minorikawa, don't blow up. Please don't blow up. Running along Koenzori in pursuit of Miku, Minorikawa heard a cell phone ringtone coming from nearby. Oh shit! It's because he stood next to the... straight up! Right after! Straight up right after he heard the ringtone, he just kinda... Boom! He caught strays! It wasn't supposed to be this way. Blow up like your PC last time, honestly. Suddenly, a massive fiery blast knocked him from his feet. A deafening roar set his head throbbing. What was that? What was going on? He lay in a daze on the ground, trying to wrap his mind around what had just happened. He smelled the foul scent of burning rubber. Then came the sound of quick footsteps rushing to him. Mr. Minorikawa! The voice called to him as if across an impossible distance. Mr. Minorikawa! Was that Miku? He forced his eyes open and saw Miku looking anxiously down at him. Mr. Minorikawa! Miku, those things I said earlier. I'm sorry. I went too far. What are you talking about? That's not the important thing right now! Miku choked back a gasp, and Minorikawa realized that he had blood leaking from his mouth. His body wouldn't move and his mind was reeling. What happened? Tell me. Miku's voice was dry and hoarse. There was a minivan. It exploded. Exploded? A minivan in the city street? That sounded like a terrorist act. His reeling mind drifted back to the attempted bioterrorist attack on Kasumigaseki 2 years earlier. An unoccupied minivan had exploded outside an MPD station. Afterwards, a detective meant to scatter a dangerous biological agent had been discovered near the subway. With sudden clarity, Minorikawa recalled what Osawa had said earlier. Oh, so that's why Minorikawa is the key to the entire thing. The power balance of the entire world might be at stake here. Could there be some sort of connection between Osawa's warning and this explosion? There was. There had to be. Minorikawa's journalistic intuition told him it must be true. Something terrible was underway here in Shibuya. Police! A man in a suit announced. He crouched beside Minorikawa and gently lifted his head and torso. Hang in there, buddy. Stay with us. The change in position allowed Minorikawa to clear his airway. He sucked in a deep breath. But as he did, an intense pain shot through his lungs. I think I might be done for. Whatever his intuition might be telling him, it didn't look like he'd ever be able to write about it. But if he couldn't get his words onto the page, the least he could do was tell someone else. With his last act, maybe he could still accomplish something. He strained to get a few words out. Osawa. Kenji Osawa. The power balance of the entire world. As his voice failed, he heard the sound of the ambulance sirens approaching. Paramedics began frantically unloading stretchers. Turning his head, he saw a number of other people who had been injured in the explosion laid out on the roadside. Amongst them were a woman and a child. Emergency workers bearing a stretcher came over to Minorikawa. Forget about me. I'm beyond helping. See to the others instead. Minorikawa shouted inwardly, but no one heard. Oof. It's alright. At least we got to see what he was able to tell Kano. Chased Miku as far as Koendori only to get caught up in an explosion. A few simple words can change his fate. Someone who shouts something at 15:30 needs to change what it is they shout. If Minorikawa hears something that grabs his attention, he might not get too close to the explosion. Understood. It's definitely Achi though. I guess we just outright didn't see it because whatever it is Achi shouted didn't matter to Minorikawa. Hey, yo, wait! Minorikawa's all beat up because of the explosion. It actually reflected here. Okay. Achi. We're not jumping. Oh, shit. This is the find the minivan. This isn't the jump. Oh, wait, no. It's close enough, I guess. Neither spoke. They simply dashed along in silence. Achi felt as if they'd been running a marathon and the finish line had finally come into view. They hooked a left at the station and darted past the Seibu department store. Aha! Achi pointed as he came to a stop. The blue minivan was still there, parked by the curb along the slight, hilly incline. Leaving Achi behind, Hitomi started rushing up the hill. Alarm bells started going off in Achi's mind. Someone from the kidnapping crew was inside that van. It was dangerous to approach carelessly. I guess what he yelled at Hitomi wait, which doesn't matter to Minorikawa. I should shout, stay back, don't get too close. Achi shouted. But she didn't appear to hear his cries. The hope of rescuing her sister had driven all else from her mind. He started to run after her. Hitomi had already reached the vehicle. She had brought her face close to one of its windows, but the tinted glass obscured the view inside. Hitomi circled around the minivan to the other side. Achi saw her grasping at the door. She slipped out of his view for just a moment. Is Minorikawa safe? I saw him! I saw him! I swear I saw Minorikawa looking around confused. Is he okay? Is Minorikawa okay? No, he's still fucking dead. He's still fucking dead. There was a thunderous explosion and a gout of flame tore through the roof of the minivan like it was made of aluminum foil. Hitomi! So I'm supposed to yell Hitomi wait? I guess? Horrified, Achi charged through the roiling smoke in searching for Hitomi. He saw two figures sprawled on the street several meters from the van. Hitomi and Keinan. So we can save Hitomi, but we can't save Minorikawa. Okay, wait. Hitomi, wait, please. Please, I don't want Minorikawa to die. Hitomi, wait! Achi shouted, but she didn't appear to hear his cries. Okay. Let's see again if this changes anything when it blows up. It's all over. Oh my god. So Minor over. Minorikawa, could you please get the fuck out of the way? I keep seeing you looking around so confused whenever it blows up. Bro. Hang on. I gotta look at the thing. Oh, thank God, he's alive. Okay, we can continue. That was the right choice. So I guess it was some sort of like, I think you see it in like movies, right? When like they open the car or like hold the knob and stuff to open it, it blows up. I guess it was like rigged like that. Okay, Hitomi and Keinan. Let's check it out. Hitomi, wake up! Achi cradled her in his arms and her eyes drifted open faintly. Are you okay? Are you hurt? Hitomi didn't appear to understand him. Her only response was a blank, dazed look. Me when I opened the garbage bin. The explosive, like, garbage. Shush! There was a small patch of red on her face. Achi wiped it away gently. He saw no further signs of bleeding. She must have been splattered by someone else's blood then. As far as he could tell, she hadn't been gravely injured. Achi let out a sigh of relief. Hitomi, is she alright? Keinan stared on the ground. Her clothes were scorched in places and she was bleeding from her head. No, Keinan! Keinan, did you save her? Is she alright? Yeah, what about her sister? Keinan didn't respond. No, it can't be. Achi went to look inside the van. Amidst the smoke and flames, he could make out the outline of a body. What happened here? Achi had to look away. Get Hitomi out of here. Hurry. If those guys show back up. Keinan's face twisted with pain. Alright. Yeah, she can't protect us right now. Achi settled Hitomi carefully in his arms. Haunting clapper? Wait, I need to tell you something. Keinan's pain gasp called him back. Alphard. Is that the name of the mastermind? Huh? Alphard. That's the name of the Okay, I guessed it right. I'm sure it will come up again if you keep pursuing this. But if you value your life, don't get involved with Alphard any further. Now go. Okay. And thanks. Okay, so it wasn't Tanaka. There's still someone above Tanaka. Alphard. Okay. With Hitomi in his arms, Achi hurried from the scene. He wasn't sure where he was heading. He just wanted to get away, wherever that meant. He carried her past the crowd of onlookers that had swiftly begun to assemble. The flames of the burning van rose ever higher, roaring up towards the heavens. Ooh, to be continued, so that's the end of the thing for Achi. Ooh. I mean, it makes sense. Hitomi is kinda like knocked out. And that was already at the third T, like at the half hour. Hydrate Foster, thank you, thank you. Let's check the timeline. Oh yeah, he does end at 15:30. That's crazy. I suppose that means something like he goes to hide and waits for Hitomi to wake up, and then that's gonna be in the next hour still. That's probably what that means. Interesting. He ends there and Osawa starts there. That's pretty crazy. Okay, Minorikawa, let's get you alive, bro. Let's not get caught in the explosion. Hitomi, wait! As he ran along Koenzori after Miku, Minorikawa heard someone shout a familiar name. Hitomi. That's a pretty common name. Ordinarily, he wouldn't have given it a second thought, but he remembered that one of the Miss Midoriyama winners was named Hitomi Osawa. That made him curious. A moment later, he heard a cell phone ringtone. He immediately recognized it as an Ayakamiki song. His reporter instincts tingled. He stopped to take a look around, and one young woman caught his eye almost immediately. He couldn't assume that any pretty girl he saw was Miss Midoriyama. After all, that'd be a little too convenient if it just so happened to run into her now. Still, it didn't cost him anything to ask. Are you Hitomi Osawa? He might as well at least check. To his own surprise, he hesitated in embarrassment. He'd never been too embarrassed to ask a question before. He didn't even get the chance to contemplate that realization. 'Cause it blew up. Where are you now? I hope you're not too injured, Minorikawa. Caught in the blast, but not injured. Okay. A massive fire blast knocked him from his feet. A deafening roar had set his head throbbing. What was that? What's going on? He laid in a daze on the ground, just trying to wrap his mind around what had just happened. Behind him, there was a minivan, fiercely ablaze. A minivan, an explosion. The first thing to pop into his mind was the attempted bioterrorist attack on Kasumi-Gaseki 2 years earlier. An occupied minivan had exploded outside an MPD station, and afterwards a device meant to scatter a dangerous biological agent had been discovered near the subway. In the end, no one had been harmed, but there were rumors that the government had paid a terrorist organization a hefty sum to keep it that way. Right now, Minorikawa was a stone's throw from the Shibuya precinct. Could this be a repeat of the Kasumi-Gaseki attack? The entire area was in an uproar. People were running around in a panic. Minorikawa could see several injured people lying on the ground unmoving. Yet despite the gravity of the situation, numerous onlookers were casually taking photos with their cell phones. Minorikawa got to his feet and went to try and get everyone away from the scene of the explosion. Hey, you guys, get back! There could be another bomb! Minorikawa looked around as he pushed back the crowd. He was getting a strong whiff of a scoop. He needed to write his copy ASAP, but he couldn't just turn his back on the situation now. 2 young men were strolling towards the burning vehicle. They had the look of juvenile delinquents. Whoa, what the heck? Is this for real? Ain't this dangerous? Like, for serious? The pair had to find an optimal vantage point. Hey, Minorikawa snapped. Don't get any closer. He spread his arms wide to hold them back. The 2 young men came to a halt, but otherwise paid him no heed. Ah, this is bad. This is for real bad. Think this is like a terrorist thing? Yo, get your phone out. Come on. But you think this is like a terrorist thing? Dude, shut up. Just hurry up and call Susumu. The taller of the 2, dressed in red, was ordering around the blue-clad companion. Huh? The boy in blue huffed. Man, do it yourself. Say what now? Bitch, this ain't no time to get yourself all worked up. Minarikawa stood there, arms still held wide, getting more and more annoyed with her back and forth. Yo, just make the call, man. The young fellow in red scowled, and he wasn't going to back down. Huh? Yo, what difference does it make if I do it or you do it? Oh my god, bruh. It doesn't make any difference, so it doesn't matter if you do it. Yeah, right. It doesn't matter. So in that case, you do it. Look, I'm telling you to just make the damn call. And I'm telling you to just make it your damn self. Oh, enough of this already. Minarikawa opened his mouth to tell them off. But the young man in red spoke again. Dude, the goods from over at Endo Electronics are gone. You gotta let Susumu know. The name Endo Electronics caught Minarikawa's attention. Huh? Ain't that all that Achi dude's fault for getting all huffy at us? I mean, it was Kiryu who told us to go find the Endo storehouse. Yeah, but Susumu doesn't like dealing in stolen goods. Says it dirties the SOS name. Well, what a coincidence. Looked like these two were SOS members. Hey, Minarikawa called out. You two. You finally succeeded in getting their attention. Where's this Susumu fellow? I'd like to talk to him. He had no idea who Susumu was, but having only heard the name just now. Still, the way those two were talking, it seemed that he held some sort of position of leadership. You think I'd tell you if I knew? The fellow in red snarled. Minarikawa kept his composure. Listen, you guys know the Tenryugumi? The Tenryugumi was a Yakuza syndicate that operated in Shibuya. Up-and-coming Yakuza syndicate that turned up on the scene 10 years ago with the seemingly legitimate Takarada financing as its business front, the group offers monetary solutions to people in financial trouble. But those who accept their offers soon find that their troubles only grow and grow, embroiled in the conflict of the Kanto Shiraminegumi, who have long been established in Shibuya. These street kids were sure to be familiar with the name if nothing else. I may not look like it, but I'm pretty tight with the Tenryugumi. And you two don't know it, but Susumu's been showing up a lot at their office lately. Susumu's been dealing with the Yakuza? Whoa, for real? Sweet! Two punks bought it completely. What's SOS using as their hangout these days? I got a little something to discuss with Susumu. Right now it's this bar called Inferno. Minarikawa made a mental note of the name. Right, and Inferno is where exactly? The two young men suddenly looked distinctly uncomfortable. Later! Yeah, I got something I gotta do too. Backing away, they took off through the crowd. Hey, wait up! I still need to know where Inferno is! But the pair had already vanished. Oh, it's because of Achi. Ambulances began arriving at the scene, and paramedics rushed to tend to the wounded. Excuse me, would you mind answering a few questions? Minarikawa turned to see a man in a suit approach him, flashing his badge. I don't think we can jump. Yeah, because Kano has not moved past that point. Yeah, where it blows up. So a detective with questions for him, huh? How about you answer a few questions for me? Was this an accident or an attack? We still don't know many details. Let me rephrase that for you. This is a major incident, Minarikawa exclaimed. Huh? The detective looked pretty flummoxed. I've been around the block a few times ago and I know all about your police PR lingo. When you start talking about the details, this is 100% indicative of a major incident. Brushing aside Minarikawa's remark, the detective tried another question. Did you happen to notice anything unusual prior to the explosion? Unusual? Minarikawa talked back to the moments before the minivan blew up. Now that you mention it, I think I heard a cell phone ringtone. The detective tilted his head. A ringtone? No, never mind, forget that. There's no way a ringtone on someone's phone would be audible through all of that. Minarikawa struck the thought from his own mind as he said it. No! In all likelihood, he'd associated the ringtone and the explosion simply because one had happened right before the other. Kano. A large-statured Caucasian man had called out to the detective. Evidently, the detective's name was Kano. Thank you for your cooperation, he said with a bow. He then ran over to the foreigner. No, you were onto something, Kano, man. You were onto something. It should have been Mr. Minarikawa. Minarikawa turned at the female voice behind him. He found Miku standing there. She looked like she'd been crying. Miku, about earlier. He trailed off, searching for an apology. It's okay. That doesn't matter right now. She looked around the scene. Minarikawa followed her gaze. Something big went down here, he said. I know, she exclaimed. The explosion. I saw it happen with my own eyes. You what? Miku looked around nervously. Are you alright? He asked her. You're not hurt, are you? I'm okay. My ears are still ringing a bit is all. Good! So what did you see at the time of the explosion? Miku assumed a thoughtful expression. There was this girl who was running towards the minivan. And I think I saw this other Middle Eastern girl suddenly make a dive for her. And then the van just exploded. Wait, hold on, Minorikawa said. So if I'm getting this right, it sounds like this Middle Eastern girl saved the girl who was running up to the van? Miku nodded. Just then, Minorikawa's phone chimed. He'd received an email. It was from Chiaki. Mr. Mino, are you still working on your copy? He checked his watch. At this point, 4 o'clock. The 4 o'clock deadline was barely 20 minutes away. Nonetheless, he decided to stay at the bomb scene. He could definitely smell a scoop here. He was sure of it. Even if he couldn't get his 6 pages done by 4, landing a major scoop should be enough to persuade the loan company. Minorikawa jotted his phone number down and handed it to Miku. I'll make things up to you, he said. Give me a call later. Miku took the scrap of paper puzzled. If you're looking for an Aiki Jujutsu dojo, I know a few. At that, her face lit up. Minorikawa decided to process the scene for clues. As he wandered around, he caught sight of Detective Kano and his Caucasian colleague heading down an alley. What's that I smell? Something pretty damn fishy. If they were slipping away for a private conversation, maybe there was some way he could listen in. Minorikawa hurried into one of the buildings that bordered the alley. He looked around and found a public bathroom upstairs on the alley side of the building. Hoping beyond hope, he slipped up into the bathroom window. Voices outside. He held his breath and listened. What a pro. Those international criminals you mentioned? Kano's words were faint, but he could make them out. Minorikawa did a little fist pump. Correct. Roughly 8 hours ago, they infected Maria Usawa with the UA virus. Then, they let her loose somewhere in Shibuya. Hold on. By UA, you mean... The discussion involved some terms Minorikawa wasn't familiar with. He focused all his mental energy on what the two were saying. This is a killer virus with 100% mortality rate once it takes hold. 100%, Minorikawa muttered to himself. Hold on, that's not true. The one who got infected was Hitomi. Maria's totally fine. And Hitomi already has the injection, right? The shock caused him to unclench the fist he didn't realize he'd made. This wasn't just an interesting conversation, it was monumental. It has an incubation period of 12 hours. In another 4 hours, Maria Osawa will go symptomatic. After that, she'll begin spreading the virus through the city. It's capable of airborne transmission. If we don't administer Kenji Osawa's antiviral before she develops symptoms, yes? Everyone in Shibuya is going to die. Minorikawa felt goosebumps rise all over his body. If they were talking about a virus and Kenji Osawa, they could only mean that Kenji Osawa. He recalled what Osawa had said earlier about the power balance of the world being at stake. There was no doubt about it. This was a tremendous scoop. Well, then we'll need to find Maria Osawa and get the antiviral to her as soon as possible. Just calm down. There's more to the story than... Ah, shit, it's starting to leak out! Door swung open loudly and someone came barging into the bathroom. Yanagashita, come on! It was Yanagashita. Why him again? And why here of all places? Ooh, I'm leaking here! Yanagashita was on the verge of hysterics. His voice must have been audible outside. Kano and his companion went to take their discussion elsewhere. And they'd just been getting to the good part. You son of a bitch! Enraged, Minorikawa grabbed Yanagashita and tossed him to the floor. I'm leaking! Shut your mouth! He put all his strength into an ankle hold and gave it a good twist. Bruh! Bro! Ah! Yanagashita wailed. Ah! Minorikawa left the idiot blubbering in the bathroom and hurried out of the building. He hadn't heard the whole discussion, but he had a scoop on his hands anyway. This would be a tremendous score for Heaven Publishing, enough to let the company rebuild. He was certain of it. And if I'm the one saying it, it's gotta be true. As he ran along, Minorikawa tried to plan his steps. First, he had to get back to the editing office. Then, he'd explain the situation to the people of the loan company. Then, he'd have to find the paperwork for Osawa and then have Chiaki check his copy. And then after that, Okay, so he still had a lot of things he needed to do. He swatted himself on both cheeks to get himself psyched up. His phone rang. It was Chiaki. Mr. Mino? Something terrible has happened. Chiaki's voice is broken into a yelp. Was a broken yelp. Whoa, calm down. Over on Koenzori, this minivan exploded. Ah yeah, I'm well aware. Thanks to that, I got a big scoop that Chiaki cut him off. Just now, I got a call from Mr. Toyama's daughter, Hana. This time, Miss Minarikawa waited for her to finish. He had a sinking feeling. She said Mr. Toyama was in there. It was a suicide. Minorikawa's knees buckled. Tell me you're joking. No, I mean, the van explosion is all over the news, and Hana is on tears on the phone, and... Mr. Mino? Mr. Mino, are you still there? Toyama had killed himself? No, that can't be right. That can't be right. That can't have been Toyama, right? Minorikawa felt the energy drain from his body. That doesn't seem right to me. To be continued. Oh, well, even if Toyama was the one inside the minivan, I'm pretty sure this isn't this wasn't his decision. It just kind of happened that way. He was put in there, I guess. I do not know. Well, that's Minorikawa's to be continued. Pretty grim note to end off on for him. Aya, Kano, or Maria. Let's go with Kano. Everybody who was on the scene on the explosion. And then we'll go to Maria and I guess Osawa last. But give me a quick momento. I need to go CR. I will be right back for a bit and then we'll continue very, very soon. One moment. Be right back. Okay, we're back. Oh my bad. I had to pause for a sec there because I was trying to unmute the mic, but then I muted the sound alerts by accident. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right, let's continue. Welcome back. Thank you. Let's continue with Kano. I feel like this time block is going a lot smoother than the last one. Probably because there's no like twin confusion. And also, Osawa starts 30 minutes in and Hachi ends 30 minutes in, so it's technically like we only did 4 full time blocks. Suddenly a boom as loud as cannon fire shook the area. Something's wrong. That's no ordinary city noise. Okay, we've seen this part. After this video, that's where we continue. There we go. The movement on the video makes me a little bit dizzy. I guess it's because it's like, it's moving alongside the way they're running as if I was running there, but I'm not. Alright, there we go. Then Kano saw flames. This hadn't been an accident. Someone had set off an explosion. The Shibuya precinct wasn't too far from here. Kano recalled the attempted bioterrorism attack on Kasumi Gaseki. Oh, here's the file on it. So 2 years ago, the Tokyo Metropolitan Public Safety Commission obtained intel of an imminent bioterrorist attack within the city. Immediately afterwards, the unoccupied minivan exploded outside the police department. A device for dispersing a bacterial contagion was discovered on the subway platform at the Kasumi Gaseki station. Having determined that the city bureaucracy was the target, the Japanese government contacted the terrorist organization responsible in secret, making a deal to put an end to the threat. The incident began with a van exploding outside the Tokyo MPD station. Already, a large crowd of onlookers was gathering. Shouts rose up as they took in the scene. What's going on? What happened? That car's on fire! Kano called into HQ, then quickly slipped around the back of the burning vehicle. It was a minivan. Peering at the flames chassis, he could see that there was someone inside. Oh no, could that be Hitomi? Once they had their hands on the antiviral, criminals would have no further use of Hitomi Osawa. Already, the body had been charred to ash. At this point, it was hardly recognizable as a human anymore. Ah shit, to keep out. That's just a jump from Minorikawa though. Let me fix that real quick. Minorikawa, you're up again. Here. Man in a business suit. There we go. Unlocked. Let's go. Several people were on the ground, evidently injured by the explosion. A girl in a hoodie was crouched among them, doing her best to tend their injuries. Okay, it's Miku. That's a Minorikawa jump, but we don't need it. Yeah, he's not locked in. She happened across the aftermath of the minivan explosion. Unable to stand idly by when faced with a horrific scene, she pitched in to help. Okay. Kano recognized her as the girl he'd talked to earlier during the traffic jam. "Police!" he announced. "Get back, let me handle this." The girl was visibly relieved. "Help her," she said. She pointed to a figure lying on the sidewalk, a short distance from the burning minivan. It was a Middle Eastern girl. She appeared to be unconscious. "I think she got hurt rescuing another girl, about college age," the girl in the hoodie said. "A college-age girl? That might be Hitomi. What happened to the girl she saved?" Kano asked. A good Samaritan looked around. "Huh? Where did she go?" The rescuee had disappeared. This girl here," the girl in the hoodie gestured towards the fallen girl. "I can't believe how fast she was." She spoke with a hint of awe. "The way she moved to get that other girl. She was on a level way beyond mine." Kano took another look at the injured girl. Her figure looked rather delicate. It was hard to believe she was capable of great feats of athleticism. He started towards her, but Stanley stepped ahead of him. "Leave this one to me," he said. "Oh no." His expression was unusually stern, even for him. "Do you know her?" Kano asked. The American didn't answer as he checked the girl's pulse and then her pupils. "Hey, Stanley. Don't you have other things you should be doing?" Stanley snapped. "Fine then." Kano decided to collect some eyewitness accounts. I'm a little sus of Stanley though, because they're enemies with Kanan. He and Kanan are enemies. If we can trust what she said about him, yeah. Patrol cars and ambulances arrived at the scene in a steady stream. Once the vehicle fire was under control, things gradually began to calm down. Several officers worked to cover the area around the burned minivan with a blue tarp. Kano got his questioning underway, starting by flashing a badge at a man near the front of the crowd.
Excuse me, would you mind answering a few questions? The man puffed himself up. How about you answer a few questions for me? Was this an accident or an attack? We still don't know many details, Kano admitted. The man shoved a finger in Kano's face. Let me rephrase that for you. This is a major incident. Huh? I've been around the block a few times and I know all about your police PR lingo, and when you start talking about the details, that's 100% indicative of a major incident. Well, I sure picked the wrong guy to try and talk to. Stifling his frustration, Kano continued his questioning. Did you happen to notice anything unusual prior to the explosion? Unusual? Now that you mention it, I think I heard a cell phone ringtone. A ringtone? No, never mind, forget that. There's no way a ringtone on someone's phone would be able to be audible through all of that. The man was probably right, but somehow the idea nagged at Kano. Thank you, Kano, for hanging on to that idea. I'm pretty sure that was important. He jotted down a note in his pad. Kano. It was Stanley. Perfect timing. Thank you for your cooperation, Kano told the man and hurried on his way. Stanley stepped in close enough to whisper. Who was that guy? An eyewitness to the explosion, apparently. Did he have any info? He said he heard his cell phone ringtone at the time of the explosion. Not sure if that's significant, though. Stanley stood silently for a moment, thinking. What about the girl? Kano asked. Has she woken up? No. I'm gonna drive her to the hospital. Huh? Why do that yourself? Just look around, Stanley said. He cast his eyes over at the scene. There were still many people lying on the roadside. It seemed the authorities hadn't sent enough ambulances. But isn't your car back in Maruyamacho? Kano asked. Under the circumstances, I think it'll make sense for me to go back for it, Stanley replied coolly. Besides, I have a few things I'd like to ask her. Kano was curious. You do? He asked. Stanley's cell rang. Yes, Stanley answered the phone in English. As he listened, his demeanor changed. The blood drained from his face and his hand began to tremble slightly as it gripped the phone. Kano had never seen him this shaken up. You got it, Stanley said at last. He hung up the phone and let out a sigh. What is it? Kano asked. Stanley headed into an alley without responding. Kano hurried after him. Once they were out of earshot of the crowd, Stanley finally spoke. That call right now was from Gordon, my superior. He broke off there and for a long while was silent. He appeared to be struggling with some strong emotion. Kano decided not to press. If it's that difficult to talk about, you don't have to. No, Stanley said. I should tell you this. He braced himself before continuing. We were contacted on our end by the mastermind of this plot. Those international criminals you mentioned? Correct. Roughly 8 hours ago, they infected Maria Osawa with the UA virus. Then, they let her loose somewhere in Shibuya. Hold on, by UA you mean... Kano thought back to his earlier conversation with Stanley. These criminals were trying to get their hands on a new drug. An antiviral drug developed by Kenji Osawa that has been shown to be effective against the UA virus. Stanley hesitated before continuing. This is a killer virus with a 100% mortality rate once it takes hold. Kenji Osawa's antiviral is our only means of combating it. A mortality rate of 100%. It has an incubation period of 12 hours. In another 4 hours, Maria Osawa will go symptomatic. After that, she'll begin spreading the virus throughout the city. It's capable of airborne transmission. Okay, following the onset of symptoms, infected with the UA virus bleed from the lungs. Oh, the virus is readily released into the air via coughing. It is highly resistant in the open air and can survive even after saliva or other fluids have evaporated. Simply getting within 2 meters of a symptomatic patient is said to carry a high risk of infection. Bodily fluids from deceased patients carry an especially high concentration of the virus, and anything contaminated with such fluids must be thoroughly sterilized before it is safe. Stanley nodded. If we don't administer Kenji Osawa's antiviral before she develops symptoms... Yes? Kano's voice was trembling now. Stanley spoke with complete certainty. Everyone in Shibuya is going to die. If I give him the benefit of the doubt and he's a good guy and then they're not lying about this, then we are totally fucked if Maria doesn't turn up and get the antiviral. Well, then we need to find Maria Osawa and get the antiviral to her as soon as possible, Kano said, panicking. Stanley remained cool. Just calm down. There's more to the story that... Stanley was interrupted by a strange sound from the upper floors of a nearby building. Unsure of what it was, the two men hurriedly relocated. Ah. Okay. They paused when they came to a vacant lot. The place was deserted. No need to worry about being overheard here. You said there was more to the story? Kano prompted. The antiviral in question is stored in Kenji Osawa's laboratory. The lab is protected by a sophisticated security system, and apparently the storage area where the drug is kept requires a fingerprint authentication from both Osawa and Tanaka. What? But... Tanaka's... Kano couldn't help but gasp. Tanaka was currently a fugitive, the prime suspect in the kidnapping case. There was no chance of getting any fingerprint authorization from him at this stage. Is there any other way to get in? Kano asked. The door can also be unlocked via password in place of the fingerprint scanner. But we'd still need to know what Tanaka chose for his password. No. In any event, Stanley said, it's essential that we track down and secure Maria. But, he went on, his voice grave, even if we get Maria to safety, the mastermind is now in possession of the UA virus. If they want to, they can unleash a bioterrorist attack on Shibuya at any time. To put it bluntly, the lives of every man, woman, and child in this city are in their hands. Why do I keep messing up the entire sentence? I am very sorry. Kano felt a pulse of fear deep enough to give him vertigo. He slowly tilted back his head and gazed at the sky, vast and blue as always. There had to be tens of thousands of people in Shibuya right now. Rumi and Shizuo were among them. And they might all be dead within a day. Felt so unreal. Kano's mind almost couldn't process it. With an effort of will, he shook himself out of his daze. Now was no time to waver. We have to try, he said. In the next 4 hours, we need to find Maria Osawa, and we have to find out a way to stop this mastermind and the UA virus. The words were as much for himself as they were for his companion. Let's do this, Stanley. We might not always see eye to eye, but together, I feel like you and I can find a way. But Stanley averted his gaze. My job here is simply to apprehend the mastermind. Kano felt a resurgence of his earlier anger at Stanley. Once again, he was putting his duties above human life. I'm sorry. Stanley's voice was a quiet mutter. You should get away from Shibuya as soon as possible, Kano. Kano hadn't imagined the American would ever be worried about him. I appreciate the warning, he said, but I'm seeing this through to the end. This isn't the sort of thing you can solve with just the effort or willpower. Even so, giving up isn't the Japanese detective way. Stanley let out a nasal chuckle. Back to that again, are we? Same to you. Kano managed a tiny chuckle of his own. Listen, Stanley went on after a moment. This is just between you and me. The mastermind behind this kidnapping case is an arms dealer who goes by the name Alfred. Oh, he also knows. Okay, arms dealer. Alfred. The attempted bioterrorist attack on Kasumigaseki, a hotel bombing in Chicago. Alfred had a hand in all of them. What do you know about this criminal? Kano asked. Stanley's expression grew even darker. Alfred's signature is extremely meticulous planning. And I don't mean meticulous in the same way you or I might think of it normally. Their plans are perfectly imperfect. Do you get what I mean? Kano shook his head. Alfred deliberately engineers accidents to make things complicated and unpredictable. It's difficult to get a good grasp of what's going on when the situation seems to be falling apart. People tend not to consider that coincidental mishaps might be anything but. In the end, they don't even realize that they're playing right into the mastermind's hands all along. Kano could hear the intensity in Stanley's voice. I mean, it's pretty giga-brain for him to purposely integrate quote-unquote coincidences or mistakes and stuff into his plan. I'm afraid that's all I can say. Stanley held out his right hand. See you around, Kano, if we're still alive. if we're still alive. Kano let that sink in for a moment. Nah, I'll shake your hand after we finish this case. With a slight smile, Stanley withdrew his hand. The two bumped fists instead. Alright, we'll meet again, Kano. I'm sure of it. Yeah, see you then. Maybe Stanley isn't such a bad guy after all. Maybe I was sussing him for nothing. Maybe he's actually a good guy. He seems alright, I'm not gonna lie. No sooner had Stanley departed than Kuze's voice came over the wireless. Attention all units. As of now, further investigation on the kidnapping case is suspended. The director's voice sounded strangely cold. I repeat, as of now, further investigation on the kidnapping case is suspended. Wait, hold on, sir? Kano shouted. What is it, Kano? Could you let us know why? We've received information that Maria Osawa has been infected with an unknown virus and has been released somewhere in Shibuya. This matched up with what Stanley had said earlier. An anti-bioterrorism security force will probably be deployed in Shibuya. This is no longer a simple kidnapping case. Our part in this is finished. No, it's not. We haven't managed to resolve anything. Kano, I assure you everyone else feels the same as you do. Kuze's voice had a cautionary tone. They're still performing autopsy on the body found in the blue minivan that exploded. I'll let you know once we have a positive ID. Kuze out. Director! But the line had already gone dead. Left at a loss, Kano gazed out at the cityscape. The sight of the bomb vehicle had calmed down briefly, but now that the news networks had begun reporting, the herd of onlookers was growing. There was also a sizable crowd gathered outside the large home electronics store. Large LCD televisions were on display showing a press conference being held by the governor of Tokyo. Oh my god, what? I can go find Rumi? I feel like this is not a good move, but I want to. Kano's part in this was over. He had to hurry and find Rumi before it was too late. He left the electronics store and headed for the cafe where Rumi and Shizuo were waiting. Yeah, I feel like this is the wrong move, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Cafe Lautrec seemed quiet when Kano arrived. Shizuo was sitting alone. Kano scanned the establishment but didn't see Rumi anywhere. One of the staff greeted him. Welcome. Just one, sir? No, I'm meeting someone actually. Of course, sir. The hostess smiled and then went on her way. Shizuo was glaring at him. Kano walked over to him and bowed deeply. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. I'm Shinya Kano. You look even more like a knuckle dragger than I thought. Shizuo maintained his appraising stare. Rumi has something she needed to do, so she stepped away for a while, he said after a long moment. Kano sat down across from him. Oh my god. There was a laptop computer on the table. Laptop's just in sleep mode, and there's nothing on the monitor, but just before Kano came in, Shizuo was browsing an internet forum. He takes his user handle from a nickname for the apples he grows on his farm, which are pretty little things nearly as sweet as hot. Oh my god! Osawa's buddy, dude on the forum of Ayakam Iki, he's also sweet on. Ain't no way, bruh. Ain't no way. The waiters came by and took Kano's order, so he just asked for an iced coffee. What are you using the computer for? Kano asked. I'm on the internet. Shizuo's voice was low and gruff. This cafe has internet connection? May as well start with a little small talk. So what? Shizuo glared at Kano. The words wouldn't come. No, actually, this was no time to be making idle chit-chat. If they got infected with the virus, Rumi and Shizuo might die. Look, please, you need to leave Shibuya right away. Shizuo's face contorted with confusion. What are you talking about? Why? Kano wasn't sure if he should tell the truth or not. He was strictly prohibited from discussing a case with anyone outside the department. As a former policeman himself, Shizuo ought to understand full well the secrecy an investigation required. But it wasn't just like he would up and leave town without a good reason. Please listen, Kano said. I'll just tell him it's a risk of a bioterrorist attack. Let's see what happens. Listen, there's a risk of... What's that? I mean, is by a risk of, Shizuo pounded his fist on the table. Spit it out! Kano just couldn't say it. It doesn't matter who he was talking to. He couldn't make himself leak the details of an ongoing investigation. Besides, there was no guarantee of a bioterrorist attack would actually happen. If they could just find and secure Maria Osawa before she went symptomatic. Does this have something to do with the case you're working? Huh? You're telling me to leave Shibuya. Does that have something to do with your case? Yes, Kano admitted. So why don't you run off with Rumi then? Shizuo's tone was frank. Well, I mean, Kano didn't have an answer handy. Shizuo let out a single heavy sigh. Is your work important to you? He asked. Kano hesitated. Is it more important than Rumi? Well, again, Shizuo cut Kano off as he waffled over how to answer. Me? I used to put my work before my family. There was no question in my mind that combating society's ills and solving cases was worth any price. And because of that, I did some pretty reckless things. Almost wound up dead more than once. Shizuo paused, a forlorn look in his eyes. He's opening up! Is he becoming... Hey, you alright, Kano? Is he going that way? My wife did nothing but worry about me. So much that I didn't even realize when she'd worried herself sick. I was so caught up in my work that I wasn't even there for her when she finally passed away. It was also very absurd of me. The waitress came by and set Kano's iced coffee on the table. It sat there untouched until Shizuo looked at it pointedly. With a tiny nod, Kano brought the cup to his lips. The bittersweet liquid was a balm to his parched throat. I told Rumi the same story, Shizuo continued, but I didn't tell her how absurd it was. I told her that her father only did what he had to do. He took a sip from the glass of water. Rumi, she's very much like her mother used to be. Their personalities are almost identical, and I don't want her to suffer the same way my wife did. Shizuo's fist clenched in his lap. What was it that made you become a detective in the first place? He asked. Well, at first, I got the job because I thought it would make Rumi happy. And then I guess because I thought it would make you like me, sir. Why does it sound like I thought you'd like me for it? Oh my god, bruh. Okay. It was the truth, but Shizuo simply chuckled. If your goal is to get me to like you, you may as well give up now. I'm sorry, sir, Kano said. I can't do that. Huh. Are you this stubborn around Rumi? Shizuo grumbled. I love your daughter, sir. I want to keep her safe, to make her happy. And why's that? Whenever I think about her, it just feels so amazing. I'm sure that you or anyone else can empathize with that. Everyone has someone they want to protect who makes them feel that good. It's an admirable thing, wanting to be a detective and protect the happiness of people, but that doesn't mean you have to ignore your own happiness in the process. What you say might be true, sir. Earlier today, my partner was stabbed, and today's his wife's birthday. Shizuo arched his brow. Is he going to make it? We're not sure yet. Last I knew, he was in critical condition. This is why I keep saying the life of a detective is... Shizuo's words trailed off into a lamenting murmur. Even so, Kano was unmoved. Dictum number 1. No, why do you have to say it out loud? Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Ever. What's that? Something a senior detective I admire very much said. It's a fundamental guiding principle I've stuck to as a detective. But I was wrong about the real meaning behind it. My partner was stabbed. There are people I want to rescue. So much has happened, and now I finally understand what those words mean. When you see someone in trouble, you help them. That's not something a good detective does. It's something a good person does. Kano took a good long look at Shizuo's face. He had surprised himself, finding the words to speak his feelings so clearly, and he'd wondered what effect it had on the older man. I'm sure that, from your perspective as my future father-in-law, my being a detective means I'm putting my life on the line. But that's not entirely true. I can only be myself. This is the kind of person that I am. I care about helping people. Even if I were a baker, or a brewer, or a bookseller, I'd still act the same way. You're being ridiculous. A baker and a detective don't assume anywhere near the same risks. I suppose that's true, Kano fussed with his hair sheepishly. Huh, Shizuo grumbled. I think I see what kind of man you are now. He sounded oddly defeated. Which is why now is no time to just futz around. Kano sat up straighter at Shizuo's weighty tone. A detective needs more than just passion. A detective can't solve all his problems with sheer determination alone. But at the same time, he needs more than just the ability to coldly assess a situation. He needs the conviction to stick to a case when it might otherwise seem prudent to give up. There was something new in Shizuo's expression now, a gleam in his eyes that hadn't been there before. Kano almost felt like he was being sermonized by a senior officer. You got that? You need a cool mind but a fiery spirit. A detective without both of those is worth nothing. Oh my gosh! He's opening up to Kano! This is nice. Do you mind if I write that down in my notebook here? Look, Shizuo said, sounding suddenly embarrassed. Aren't you in a hurry? Don't you have to get back to your case? Yes, and sir, please. I need you and your daughter to leave Shibuya right away. Yeah, I hear ya. Kano conjured up Rumi's face in his mind. There was a chance he might never see her again. He forced the thought away as best he could. By the way, if I may ask, Shizuo said, what was it about Rumi that made you fall in love with her? What? Where's this coming from all of a sudden? Was it her looks? No, it wasn't just that. Kano found himself tongue-tied again. I mean, she is pretty cute, even if this is my own daughter we're talking about. Shizuo shocked himself by grinning from ear to ear. Well, yeah, she sure is, Kano replied. But it's more than just that. She's also very sweet and kind-hearted. She is, isn't she? Yeah, she really is. And for the first time, Kano and Shizuo smiled at one another. You're a man who lets his emotions show on his face, Shizuo said. And for a detective, that's actually not so bad. Thank you, sir, Kano said. He bowed to Shizuo as he stood up from his seat. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, huh? I like that. Wise words indeed. Kano turned to look back and then bowed deeply to Shizuo one last time. Maybe this wasn't the bad ending after all. That seemed really nice. I'm gonna be disappointed if bad end shows up now. The ability to coldly assess a situation. Kano knew what he needed to do. There was one thing that was nagging at him. No matter how hard he thought about it, it still didn't add up. Why would Teteno let Al-Karawan go free? He needed to get back to the precinct and get the truth from Al-Karawan firsthand. As he walked along, he considered what he did know about the facts of the case. Just what sort of plan had Alfred put into motion here? It seemed that Tanaka and Osawa held the keys to understanding it. There had been a relay handoffs of the phony Itachi case, a relay that Tanaka had been complicit in. Then there was Hitomi missing, carrying the antiviral. Osawa had confirmed that himself. Okay, that's a jump. Kano was starting to form a vague picture of what Alfred was up to. If the mastermind's goal was to acquire the antiviral, then obtaining the cooperation of Osawa and Tanaka was vital to that plan. After all, their fingerprint verification was required to physically access the drug. In order to overcome that hurdle, Alfred had presumably managed to win over Tanaka somehow, and then had kidnapped Maria Osawa to provide leverage against her father. No doubt it was how he had gotten to Hitomi to take the antiviral with her. To Hachiko. Okay. While the police were distracted by the following Itachi case, Alfred would then take the antiviral from Hitomi. That was the general plan, as far as Kano could surmise. Just then, a call from Kuze came in from the wireless. We've identified the body found inside the blown-up minivan. Please don't tell me it's actually Toyama. Please don't be actually Toyama. Please don't be Toyama. Please don't be Toyama. Kano's hand tingled and gripped at the wireless. It's Tanaka? Ayo? Mamoru Tanaka, male, 40 years old. An employee of Akoshi Pharmaceutical, positive ID was obtained from subject's personal belongings. What? Kano gasped. If Tanaka was dead, it would almost be impossible to access the antiviral drug in the laboratory. At this point, the only antiviral they had any chance of obtaining was whatever Hitomi was carrying. Kano thought back to what Stanley had said. Even if we get Maria to safety, the mastermind is in possession of the UA virus. If they want to, they can unleash a bioterrorist attack on Shibuya at any time. To put it bluntly, the lives of every man, woman, and child in the city are in their hands. No. A chill ran down Kano's spine. If someone did release the UA virus, there would be no way to stop it from spreading. If Alfred was really planning on doing a bioterrorist attack, Shibuya would well and truly become a city of the dead. He couldn't help but feel that the whole department was playing right into Alfred's hands. Kano staggered, physically stricken by the realization of how terrifying a foe they were up against. At least it wasn't Toyama. There was a misunderstanding. We're a little fucked though, because it's Tanaka. To be continued. Alright then. I don't know, should I go Osawa or Maria? I feel like we should go Maria because we already started it. Yeah? Let's go Maria because we already started it. We just note that we have a jump there for Osawa. Let's go! Maybe we can finish this. We can probably try to finish this, I guess. Try. Woo! Suddenly, I feel totally exhausted. I let out a sigh and dropped my eyes, and I notice a notebook on the ground at my feet. Ah, it's this one. Let's see. Yeah, it's the photo. Okay. What do I do now? Do I go to the police? How to explain the situation? Okay, wait. We've still seen this one. Who's that? Who exactly they after? Okay. If only we could get Maria to run into Kano. You know? What am I supposed to do? Okay. I hang my head at a total loss. The necklace on my neck sways idly to and fro. It's still a keep out! Are you fucking kidding me? Oh well, I know where it is. It's in Achi's. I guess it's because the keep out that I broke earlier was in the case where they show up. But it shouldn't be. Sister. Here we are. There we go. This should break us out of it. We should be good to go. Eventually, I muster up the energy to start walking around town, heading nowhere in particular. Ayakamiki. The billboard outside of a department store displays a poster of some female musician. She must be very popular because it looks like a lot of passersby stop to take a good look. I catch sight of little Hana in front of the billboard. She's sewing something to a woman there, some colorful sheets of paper. Wait, is that Ayakamiki? The woman looks a lot like the musician in the poster. Moreover, I have a feeling I've seen her someplace before. Where could I have seen her? Man, having amnesia is really a pain in the ass. No way of knowing whether I've forgotten something or had no memory of it in the first place. The woman looks through the papers Hana held out to her, nodding approvingly at each one. I can hear her murmur with admiration. Hana! I wave as I scamper on over to her as I do. The woman abruptly hurries off. Okay. Hey, we meet again, I say. Hana just gives me a bored look. Who is that just now, I ask. I don't know. Hana quickly gathers up her belongings and starts briskly walking away. Oh hey, wait up! I call out, but the girl ignores me. She's moving at a jog now, heading from Spanish Hill towards Koendori. Ah, no! She steps out onto Koendori and trips. She trips and falls down hard. The contents of her bag spill out on the road. Oh, whoops! Catching up to her, I gather some of the fallen pages. What's this? There are poems written on the colored paper. Copies of the prose poem called The False Monsoon. Poem delicately details the wavering emotions of an adolescent girl. Also, in a clever twist, if the text is read horizontally instead of vertically, it tells of how a father worries about his only daughter who's now of marriageable age. Hana's genius will soon be discovered by Ayakamiki and she will go on to become a popular songwriter. Ooh, damn! A look of embarrassment crosses Hannah's face as she snatches the pages out of my hands. Don't touch those. Those are for sale. For sale? I'm selling poems that I wrote. Oh, sheesh! She is a genius. Oh, wow, that's incredible. She looks surprised by the compliment. Incredible. My friends at school said they were dumb. That's not true. I only saw a little just now, but I thought it was a really good poem. You're just saying that. I've been out here in Shibuya for weeks trying to sell these, but the only person who's bought one was that lady just now. Hana lets out a mournful sigh. Well, what are you doing selling poems for, anyway? I thought maybe it would help pay back our debts. Huh? Okay, that's not something I expected to hear from a little kid. My dad's in real deep, she continues. The topic makes me think of Mr. Yanagashita. I guess today's my day for meeting people mired in debt. And I'm only in elementary school, so I can't get a part-time job. Prohibits hiring children under the age of 15. That's very understandable. I'm impressed. She's so brave. Maybe she's just a little hard to approach, but she is just a kid after all. She's so brave, I just want to give her a hug. Oh, Hannah! I hear a strange wailing call from behind me. Startled, I turn around to see Mr. Toyama standing there, his tears streaming from his eyes. Hannah! I'm so sorry. I had no idea you were trying so hard to... Toyama rushes up to the girl. It's quite emotional father-daughter reunion. Or at least that's how it looks until Hannah slaps her father across the face with a bundle of papers. What? What was that for? Don't you give me that. I'm sick of all this running around. Oh my god, Maria's like, yeah, that's how it's done. She's so proud. She delivers several more well-placed smacks with her little craft project. Okay, Toyama says at last. I know you're upset, but I have to ask you for just one thing. Then we can see about getting through the day, yeah? Okay, but just one. I can't help but find this ornery interaction kind of charming. You two get along really well, don't you? I say. Yep. Nope. The two give a simultaneous contradictory replies. Aw, and then they rush off. Hana then sullenly starts to walk off, with Toyama tottering after her. It's a weird little sight, but I can't help but laugh. Well, later then. No, I wanted to see what happens to Toyama. Oh my god! What do you mean Maria was standing right there when that happened? Bro, Maria was literally right there. I can't believe this. How does everybody miss her? Is everybody have like this? Well, at least Toyama is not dead, right? Like, I don't know how that happens that Hana thinks Toyama is dead. But at least we saw him walk away from this just fine. Further along Koen-dori, I come across a car on the roadside that's spectacularly aflame. A group of onlookers surrounds it in a confused uproar. It seems almost unreal. I'm looking at a set for a TV show or something. I stand there, staring into the flames. Huh? What's that? I can see something. Oh, it's a flashback! She's remembering something. The raging heat makes the air shimmer. The scent of dry sand fills my nose. A gust of searing wind tugs at my hair. Where am I? Well, maybe she could reunite with Kainan. I'm not sure. Decaying roads. Decaying houses. A decaying city. And the people who live there. People who live. People who live. People who live. There's someone by my side. Someone is with me, watching all of this. It should be Kainan, right? I think that's Kainan. It's a girl. The person with me is a girl, slightly younger than me. She says something to me. Anna is me. I have no idea what that means. Cat's Cradle. That's my voice now. Cat's Cradle. Whose voice was that? What's going on? Who am I talking to? Yeah, cat's cradle. I'm showing someone how to do a cat's cradle with a string. But who? Who am I showing how to do a cat's cradle? Kanan. She remembers Kanan now? The word Kanan echoes in my head. Okay, not necessarily. She just knows the name, I guess. Kanan. I utter the name aloud. Images floating through my mind are beginning to break up and vanish. But I feel like, for a brief moment at least, I caught hold of the edges of some of my lost memories. That's right. Kanan. As soon as I say it, I'm filled with a powerful sense of duty. There's something I'm responsible for. Something I needed to do. And if I don't, this Kanan person is going to be in grave danger. Oh, calm down. Just calm down. Pleading with myself right now. Fighting the impulse to take off running. If I did, where would I go? I have no idea what my destination or goal even is. Please. Please, just remember something. Please. Please. Gaze out at the flames, practically praying now. Don't move. Osh. Oh, come on, man! This is not Hitomi! You've already established that this is Maria, man! A voice hisses in my ear, and I feel something hard press against my back. I don't need to turn around to recognize whose voice it is. I thought you said you didn't have any business with... I did a little thinking, says the man with the cane slowly. About how I might lure out Hitomi Osawa, see? I'm going to use you as bait. Aw, man! We just don't catch break. Do we end Maria's with him again? Yeah, we do. Okay. Does that end at the 30? Because I feel like that was at the 30 or at least 35. Let's see. Show me the timeline! Yeah, it ended at the 40. Okay, just a little bit after because of the flashback. We're on the final one! Osawa. The final one, and we'll finish this time block. Thank you for the hydrate, posture check, and stretch. Let me get that hydrate while pressing into Osawa. Thinking about the case. I've never truly trusted anyone, not on a fundamental level. Human beings are a type of organism that I can't get a true handle on, through mere surface interactions. The very fact that I have never trusted anyone else means, inevitably, no one else has ever trusted me. In the end, maybe the root of all my problems can be traced back to my heart. As he waited for Minorikawa to contact him, Osawa thought about his current crisis. Assuming Tanaka was behind the kidnapping, then he must have accomplices. And these criminals had mistakenly abducted Maria in their attempt to get the antiviral drug that was in Hitomi's blood. Maria and Hitomi were fraternal twins, but they looked similar enough to be mistaken for identical twins. Still, Tanaka would never confuse the two. The mix-up must have been made by some criminal who didn't know Maria or Hitomi personally. Insisting that Hitomi bring in the ransom to the train station was obviously their solution. It had set her up for a second abduction. But piecing together this much of the kidnapper's plan only raised a different question. Why had Tanaka shown him those emails from Hitomi? Wouldn't the criminals want to keep their information like that hidden? The more Osawa thought about things, the less they made sense. Just who are my true allies? And who are my true foes? Mr. Osawa, a delivery has arrived for you. It was Kajiwara at the study door. Come in. Can we open it together? Because it's kind of freaky. The timing. Kajiwara stopped at the living room, stepped into the room and handed Osawa a letter-sized envelope. Osawa checked the label. Coming, the official Ayakamiki fan club membership application enclosed. Coming? 1,000 yen initiation fee and yearly dues of 3,000 yen. Membership grants several perks, including the opportunity to reserve concert tickets in advance of the general public. Osawa is fond of the members-only website content, which includes Ayakamiki's blog and exclusive videos. Right, he had requested the application the day he'd gotten back from overseas. Would you mind opening that? Kajiwara asked apologetically. What for? I'd just like to check the contents of any packages you received today, sir. It's possible the kidnapper might try to contact you by mail. Osawa opened the envelope. Inside, he found the expected application, along with several postcards featuring pictures of the singer. Kajiwara peered pointedly at the postcard images. You must really like her, the detective said. And what sort of music do you listen to then? Osawa asked, staring at one of the postcards. It was a striking photo that showed off Kamiki's expressive eyes. Let me think. Mostly classical, I suppose. Osawa raised a quizzical eyebrow. You know, Kajiwara continued, like Mozart and Chopin and the like? Mozart. Oh my god, reading Mozart's name is giving me like Steins Gate flashbacks. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I know it's not that, but you know, I don't know if it's Chopin or Chopin or something, right? Like, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Although this one is also giving me a video game flashbacks. I just don't remember what the name of the video game was. Was it like Eternal Sonata or something? It was Chopin. Okay, so that's how you say it. Yeah. I think that game was based on his music, and he's even one of the characters, I think. He hummed a few bars. Can't say I've ever heard them. Are you serious? Kajiwara looked shocked. I'm familiar with the names, of course. I've just never had much of an interest in music. Oh, that's such a shame. Would you care to listen to a piece now? Why not? Why not? Okay. I suppose I'm high as well. Now curious that he brought it up, Osawa was curious to know... now that he brought it up, Osawa was curious to know what sort of music Kajiwara enjoyed. Alright, what's he gonna play? The detective pulled the digital music player out from his pocket. Here you go. Osawa attached the earbuds into his ears. Why am I just hearing like the... He heard a flow of quiet strings that was soon joined by bold, dramatic horns. As the piece continued, it grew more and more profound and complex, and Osawa could feel his spirit calming. He took a deep breath and then expelled it through his nostrils. It felt as though the toxic gloom that was filling him was departing with the air. Before he knew it, nearly 10 minutes had passed. I mean, I would say classical music is pretty relaxing. What do you think? It's quite nice. The theme of this piece is, Kajiwara paused for a moment and thought, well, it's about how erudition can be boorishness. Accumulated knowledge. Ah, hell yeah. Thank you. If I hadn't met you, I had never discovered this piece. He spoke the words unthinkingly, with unaccustomed frankness. Was this the power of music, then? I'm very happy to hear that, sir. Osawa gazed at one of the postcards as he let himself be drawn back into the music. Aya was scooping up handsful of mystical blue sand. Grains dripped down from her fingertips. I feel like I could be in this photo here, Osawa muttered. Like, I've lived my life letting so many things slip through my fingers. Oh. Kajiwara thought for a moment before responding. I think anyone who's worked hard to accomplish something and is focused for a long time on that one thing is susceptible to those kinds of feelings. Accomplishing something means getting results. And that's not where my problem is. Osawa removed the headphones and gave the music player back. You told me not to hide things from me, right? Kajiwara nodded silently. Then allow me to speak frankly. Leaning back heavily in his chair, Osawa took in another deep, slow breath. I'm anxious. So anxious that it's almost crushing me. Given the circumstances, sir, that's completely No! Osawa spoke up before Kajiwara could finish. It's not that. It's not that at all. He shook his head vigorously. If the worst should happen to my daughter, how am I going to feel, I wonder? I'm not a man with a wide range of emotions. My heart is always cold, somehow. And the truth is, I've wanted it to be that way. Which is why If I do lose my daughter, my heart might remain unmoved. I may not even be able to feel a father's sorrow. That's what I'm anxious about. Damn. He felt his emotions twist inside him in a way that was utterly confusing. Perhaps for the first time in his life, he realized how fickle a thing the human heart could be. It's alright, sir. Hajiwara flashed him a carefree smile. What's alright? People who really have cold hearts don't worry about that sort of thing. Aw, he's kinda right though. He wouldn't be thinking about it if he really was cold or didn't care. The detective held out his music player again. Here, I'd like you to have this. Please give it another listen if you'd like. I think it might help you calm your nerves. Osawa took the offered device. He had dared open up to Kajiwara, just a little, and to his own surprise, he felt grateful for it. What the heck? This time block is crazy, but it's also really wholesome. It's crazy with the explosion and everything, but like it's really wholesome with, you know, the talk with Kano and Shizuo, and then it's wholesome with this. Aww, enemies to lovers. Same with Kano and Shizuo, I guess. Like they were doing the same thing. Was he Shizuo or Shizue? Oh my gosh, I know his name was something like that. How about one of these as well? The detective produced a banana from his pocket. I'm fine, thanks. Are you sure? No, I'll take it. Alright, I guess I'll take it. Oh yeah. Osawa spoke irritably, then his expression softened a little. You know, you've been getting on my nerves all day. Really? And here I thought I'd been doing what I could to soothe your spirits, Mr. Osawa. It's actually been a real long time since I've yelled at anyone quite so much. As the words left his lips, Osawa found himself thinking back to one particular rainy day. Flashback. Good thing they are not telling him about the explosion. At least not yet. They're probably gonna tell him when they figure out it's Tanaka. Maria had been in 5th grade at the time. Osawa had been standing in his daughter's room. In his hands, he held the letter she'd left behind. He happened to glance out the window and saw Maria walking along, soaked from head to toe. In an instant, Osawa was consumed with rage. Maria had left a note. It read, Dad, you only pay attention to Hitomi. You're too busy with work to play with me, so I'm running away from home. Struck by an impulse he didn't quite understand, he ran from the room, heading for the front door. Maria had just gotten back inside. Osawa met her silently in the entryway. Wet strands of hair clung to the girl's forehead as she looked up at her father with a bitter glare. You don't care what happens to me, do you? Impulsively, he slapped her face. Maria's cheek turned red and tears welled up in her eyes. Osawa's anger transformed abruptly into guilt. He gazed down at the palm of his hand and saw a tiny spot of blood. He was shocked by recognition of what he had just done. And then, he was afraid. Afraid that his daughter could bring such a raw emotion out of him and make him do something so thoughtless. What, aren't you gonna say sorry? Osawa! Yo! Okay, flashback over, I guess. Is something wrong, Mr. Osawa? Kajiwara was leaning in, looking concerned. Osawa had come back into the moment with a start and realized he buried his face in his hands. No, he muttered, looking up. Just getting angry, yelling at people. I'm not good with that sort of thing. I don't like it. He picked up the music player and fidgeted with the earbuds as he spoke. Well, getting angry and yelling at people. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's just human. It's human? To do those kinds of things? I often said that he was cold and mechanical. Her sarcasm only underlined the fact that he'd always lived with. He didn't know how to conduct himself like a human being. If you get angry, you show it, Kajiwara said. If you get sad, you show it. It's human nature to let other people know how we're feeling after all. Well, what if doing that hurts the other person? That's when you apologize, sir. Ah, it occurred to Osawa that he'd never tried to tell anyone how he felt before. He'd never felt the need to. And yet, right now, he suddenly felt that if his daughters were to appear before him, he might blurt out everything he'd ever left unsaid. It was a terrifying thought. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty nice that Kajiwara is being so patient with him and like helping him through, working through his emotions. I feel like he doesn't have to, but he is doing it, and that's really nice. Alright, it's I. Darling? I opened the door and stepped into the room. The detectives are asking for you. It seems there's been a development. We'll be right there. Osawa and Kajiwara hurried out of the room. It's gotta be the explosion, right? No, it's gotta be that Tanaka died. It's already so late in because he started at 30. I fucking forgot he started at 30 and then he did this whole zone out with the music. Holy shit, we're actually gonna finish. Let's go. Okay, we'll jump to Osawa from here. This should be the one. I didn't bother checking the time when this one showed up, but I'm sure it is gonna be the 55. I mean, this is the to be continued. Oh, Sawa, there you go. That's the one. Hello. What's the development? Bros, what is this? Before the news was shared with the Osawas, the members of the investigation team quietly briefed Detective Kajiwara. Osawa and I sat on the sofa on the far side of the room watching. They could see Kajiwara go pale. He wiped the sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief several times. Bad news, Osawa thought. Mr. Osawa? Ma'am? Kajiwara shuffled his way over to them at last. We have just gotten word from headquarters. Okay, right now, the task hire... blah, 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 blah. The detectives who are on the scene have been ordered to discontinue the kidnapping investigation. And that's just going back to Kano. He hesitated ominously. Osawa braced himself. Please, let's hear it. It would seem that your daughter Maria is safe. What? Osawa felt a sudden unexpected surge of relief. You mean it? The case has been solved? Added I. For a moment, they almost sounded like a happily married couple. It was only the stern look on Kajiwara's face that gave them pause. However, as of yet, we do not have her in custody. I'm not sure I understand, Osawa said. You know she's alive, but you don't have her. How? Deep furrows appeared in Kajiwara's forehead. I'm sorry, sir. The information we've received from up top is complicated. We've confirmed that she was able to escape confinement. It's just... The detective gave every appearance of holding something back. If there's something you need to tell us, then just say it, Osawa told him. It would seem that Maria has been affected with a virus. Infected? Osawa felt as if a talon claw had just clutched his heart. It's not one I've ever heard of before, but... apparently it's called the UA virus. Oh, they both got triggered. They both know. Osawa's vision went dark. He felt as if he'd plunged into a black void of despair. Darling? I asked raspily. She didn't need to put her fears into words. Osawa felt them just as plainly as his own gut. You're an expert on virology, aren't you, Mr. Osawa? Kajiwara said. Are you familiar with this UA virus? Osawa held up a hand to forestall her further questions. There was no time for that. How many hours ago was she infected? He demanded. I wasn't told that much. Is it important to know, sir? Depending on when Maria was infected, we may or may not still be... Osawa trailed off abruptly. The reality of the situation struck home. This wasn't the same as when Hitomi had been infected. Right now, there was no way of getting Tanaka's cooperation, which meant there was no way of accessing the antiviral storage. In other words, getting the cure to Maria would be impossible. Osawa's head swam. Detective Kajiwara, I beg of you. Your people need to catch Tanaka as soon as possible. I can't share the details, but if you don't, something terrible is going to happen. But he died. At that, Kajiwara's cell phone rang. He picked up quickly. Hello, Ricker. Thank you for dropping by. What did you say? The detective's shout shattered the anxious silence that had fallen. I shuddered visibly at the outburst. Kajiwara nodded sharply, still listening. More creases formed on his forehead. Understood. I'll let them know. He hung up. All eyes were on him. That was the headquarters. Osawa swallowed the lump in his throat. He could feel himself quaking all over. A minivan we believed belonged to the syndicate exploded in Jinan near Shibuya. A body was found amongst the burning wreckage of the vehicle. Who was it? Osawa interjected. Tell me! Please don't let it be Maria. Please don't let it be Hitomi. Kajiwara took a deep breath before speaking. We've conclusively identified the remains. It's as Mr. Tanaka's.
Only I is so fucking... No! Oh my god, you guys. The cry was visceral, almost bird-like. Osawa looked around in surprise. It was I. It's not true! You're lying! Her shrill screams reverberated through the room. It's so fucking loud. Osawa felt like he wanted to scream too. With Tanaka dead, there was no way to get the antiviral. Which meant that Maria was going to die. It can't be. To be continued. Oh my god. Why is this so loud though? At least we get to see the trailer of the next hour. Let's go. The preview. Let's go, let's go. This is looking bad. This ain't the old SOS anymore. I'm going to stop you. Oh, how touching. What do you mean you'll kill me? In order to minimize the spread of the virus. Oh my goodness. Speed run. Oh my god. Choice and sacrifice was the achievement for this time block, huh? I just want to check, okay? So Osawa starts at 1610. Maria at 1600, Achi at 1600, Kano at 1605, Minorikawa at 1600. This has to be a misunderstanding, right? The suicide, we literally just saw him walk away. There's no fucking way. This can't be it. Has to have been an accident at best. I don't believe it. Osawa, I really don't know how we're gonna get out of this. This one, I think we can get out of this. I mean, it feel like it's dependent on Achi and Kano, but we'll see, we'll see. For now, that's where we'll end off. And not bad, we finished another whole time block. If I'm not mistaken, I think 1600 to 1700 is the second to the last time block? I could be wrong, I could be wrong. It could be third to the last or second to the last. I know it's one of the last ones. So, we're getting really close to solving the mystery and getting to the end of the game. I'm pretty excited to see how it will all wrap up. I'm worried about Maria though. If she really is infected, how the hell are we gonna cure her? The best I can think of is Hitomi. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for dropping by and for sticking around. And just stick around if you want to raid. See you guys on Thursday. I believe Thursday for Tukoni, I believe is the name of the game. It's like a point and click adventure game based on storybooks. Bye bye. Thank you.